crisis for the geek kind. Top geek officials admit they underestimated the hipsters' defense capability. Join the geek revolution and save the galaxy. Geeks from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future. They're doing their part. Are you? Want to know more? Join Weeby Geeks and the Geek Revolution and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship. Listen to Weeby Geeks podcast on iTunes and Stitcher or online at weebygeeks.net. Weeby Geeks, your voice for the Geek Revolution. Want to know more?
Geek Speak, the definitive 365 cut. These are the meaningless ramblings of a Scottish redone whore and a pissy ex-video store clerk. Their ongoing mission is to set right the movie wrongs. They're gonna need a bigger podcast.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 50 of the 365 Flicks podcast. As always, I am Kev.
And I am Chris.
And we are halfway there, Chris.
Yeah, halfway.
Everybody retires at 100.
No, but it's 365. So
But Graphic Novice is retiring at 100.
Oh, fuck Graphic Novice. No, we've got 315 more to go.
That was really quick math. I couldn't have done that. I can't. I'm actually really impressed.
Because I've had beer.
Yeah, it's just the way you came out with it. Like, we've still got 315. Like, I could never have worked out that.
Oh, I checked that at like 9 a.m. this morning.
Because you knew I was going to do the retirement spiel. Well, yeah, this is episode 50 of the 365 Flicks podcast, and we've got quite a good episode for you tonight. We have a fantastic little... Will we tell them now, or just let it go later?
Tell them what?
About our fantastic little chat we just had.
Well, you can drop a little hint now.
Okay, non-spoilery little hint of a clue.
That's enough of a hint.
Right, anyway, so you can find us everywhere. We're on the iTunes, and if you're listening to us on the iTunes, which you probably are because, you know, everybody's got Apple iTunes phones and stuff like that right now, you will see a little bit at the side where it's got a little rate and review section. Get in there, rate and review, go balls deep, give us 5 stars.
5 stars.
And a cheeky little comment like, I like that, Kev. Chris, not so much, but I like Kev, so 5 stars.
That's never happened, is it?
You can also find us on Stitcher if you're rocking an Android phone. If you are, that's your problem. But we're also on there. We're also on the Satchel app, which is partnered up with one of our fantastic networks, the Tangent Bound Network. So we're contractually obligated to pimp out the Satchel.
Why the devil not?
Do you think we'll ever actually get a contract to sign?
Do we need one? It's a verbal contract, if anything.
I do hear all these other podcasts that talk about contracts and whatnot, and we've never actually seen a contract.
We don't need one. We're 365 Flicks.
We are 365 Flicks. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we still have 315 episodes left.
Exactly.
I'm really impressed by that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I can add shit.
No, that you took away shit. You didn't add nothing.
Well,
you took away.
Same thing.
So yeah, we're on the Tangent Bound. We're also on the Wicked Radio Network, ran by Big Sexy Dev, the big man himself. We're also on the Geeky Antics Network, Global, ran by Yomar. What else? Weeby Geeks, which is the promo.
You just played the promo.
It's all professional.
You think back. This, by the way, just to be clear, this is 5 past midnight that we're recording this.
Yeah, it's 5 past midnight, but we're also kind of riding a little bit high.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So
and people, you'll find out in a minute why.
And we're also on the, if you want to look for us and more fantastic podcasts, go to on the Twitters and hashtag #PodandFamily. Wicked little community with some fantastic podcasts in there with the Epic Film guys, Weird Science, Comic-Con Confidential, the legit Aussies. There's some great podcasts on there. I tend to find one every few days.
There are a lot of good podcasts in there. I'll tell you what happened.
Go on then.
You
discovered a new podcast?
No, I haven't.
You've been on somebody else's podcast?
No, I've got an HTC phone and it's a piece of shit.
Yep, you do.
Yes.
And it is.
Yes. And I had to wipe the phone.
Oh,
not with the cloth.
Not with the cloth?
No.
Did it have a scratch on it?
No. I had to completely wipe the phone entirely.
Right.
not with the cloth. And so I lost everything going back to January of this year.
Like your pictures?
No, that was backed up.
Yeah.
It's pretty much pictures of my dog and your
contact.
mum.
My mum? Oh,
Sorry.
wow. You went there quite quick.
Bygones. So, yeah, I had a good 15 podcasts downloaded and subscribed to and all that shenanigans, and I lost them all.
All of them?
Yes.
Even Weird Science?
Yes.
Even Hobie?
Not Hobie. Never Hobie.
Never Hobie?
No.
You know what it is? I've
You
wiped
can't lose Hobie. They're there like a rash.
They are.
Like a rash that won't go away.
Yeah.
Yep.
They are like podcast aids.
Podcast aids.
Podcades.
I like that.
That works.
I like that.
Yeah, I've tried to wipe...
You're welcome, Hobie.
I've tried to wipe Hobie off my phone that many times, but it just keeps coming back. It's like a boomerang. No matter how hard you try, they will keep coming back to you.
Bless them.
Bless them.
Bless them.
I do like them, though. I do like them, and I love... Did you listen to the latest... Well, you can't listen to the latest episode, can you?
Well, I have now.
Oh, you haven't?
I've got it back up and running now.
Jeff's really impressed with his beard. He's really...
And why the devil not?
Well, I did see
I
a picture
saw
of it.
photos of him on the Death Star at the Cincinnati Comic Con.
Yep.
Which looked really cool. And also the picture of Brigger and his wee boy climbing up the thing
The
like
Spider-Man
like
thing.
Batman.
No,
Batman.
they were dressed as Batman, but were they not doing Spider-Man?
No, it was the Batman from the Adam West days.
Was it?
Climbing up the thing with the rope.
Okay.
Stupid idiot.
I thought they were doing the wall from Gladiators.
Shut the fuck up.
Remember
that was cool.
Gladiators? Remember how good Gladiators used to be?
Yeah, Americans don't have that.
They do, but they probably call it something else, like Herculeans.
Or WWE.
WWE. Yeah.
Anyway. So where were we? I forget. This is going to be a mess, by the way. I apologise. But it can't be much more of a mess than the last one.
No, the last one we got derailed. We didn't get railed, we got derailed.
We did.
Go back and listen to episode 40.
It was a good laugh, to be fair.
It was hilarious.
My voice was fucking wrecked the next again day.
It was probably the most fun I've had while editing. I was in hysterics every time Mark spoke, because Mark has a fantastic voice,
Yes,
and
he
he lends it to so many different accents. Dimples,
Fucking Sir Anthony Hopkins, for example.
Dimples, what a guy, and Ross, fantastic. Just it was so much.
That was
fun
great.
having
That was great. I can't wait to see the Trial by Wombat in
Yep.
a few weeks' time,
November the 4th and the 5th.
and also
Oh,
just to start into the, let's get the episode moving kind of thing.
yep. Let's do that as quick as possible, please.
We have filmed our on-screen debut, Kev.
Have we? Oh, we did. Yeah, we did.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Look for me with my 365 Flicks t-shirt. Because I had to wear that. I had to get it in there.
Yeah, my washing machine wrecked mine, so I was wearing a Scolari Brothers.
Yep. But we did, yeah. The guys gave us a quick little cheeky text. Can we have you for 10, 15 minutes? We were like, of course you can. The thespians that we are.
Well, we were more, oh, fuck.
Yeah, we agreed to this. Why on earth did we agree to this? And we got down there and they were like filming their movie, their little trailer. It's going to be on during the show.
At the start of the show.
And I have to say, as death scenes go, I'm up there with John Hurt from Alien.
You're up there with Shatner, to be honest with
I'm
you.
up there with Shatner,
Yeah.
definitely Shatner.
Because your first take was Shatner.
It was. It was kind of sort of like a pencil dive sideways.
Your first take was the Enterprise was being attacked.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though.
But I was fucking awesome.
You were like, oh,
what's occurring? That kind of thing.
we're filming a podcast up in here.
Oh, I'm fucking dreading seeing that.
I'm not. I'm looking forward to it because you know what it is? I can consciously remember just standing there looking at the camera with a muckle shit-eating grin on my face.
See, I didn't see you. I said my line. Oh, what's occurring?
What's that? Yeah.
Oh, what's occurring? I'll break your face. That kind of thing. And then I got shot.
That was terrible.
I know, right? That was my Nessa.
Yeah. I know.
And then I got shot and kind of disappeared off screen, and then you were being attacked by Klingons.
But I think what people don't realise is being shot by a fake gun is not easy.
Well, it was just Dimples going bang bang.
Yeah, he did pretty much go bang bang, and he kind of gave me a little wink at first. I think that was like the action signal,
Right.
But really, I thought he was just giving me the wink of the gun. I thought this dude's into me.
Blimey.
But apparently not.
Who isn't?
Apparently not, because as soon as we were finished, it was like, right, lads, go away. Go away. Swept under the rug. Do they not know I've been in a movie before? A movie that is on IMDb. Thank you very much.
Anyway.
Have I ever told the story about the movie?
Probably.
I was in a movie once. I got paid for a full day's filming, even though I was only in like a 10-second scene, and I gulped.
Who were you gulping down? What?
The assistant director, thank you very much.
Oh, well.
And he was French, so fuck you. And yeah, I was stood there. I was mortuary assistant number 2. I was the one with the mutton chops, but then they took the mutton chops off because apparently it made me look too old. You know, like that's possible. And we had to lift up this person who's playing a pygmy. She was playing.
Was it Warwick Davis?
No,
oh.
She was playing a pygmy, right? And I heard all these stories that like when they got her on set over in because some of it was filmed in like South Africa and stuff, she was all thin and stuff. She was not thin when we lifted her up. She'd been eating some of that gourmet shit on the food truck.
Was it like Hornswoggle? Because you know that little bastard weighed a fucking ton.
Oh, she weighed a lot. And but they did the take the body out of here. The guy from To the Manor Born. It's your time. It's not really my time, but he goes take the body out of here. Mm-hmm. And me and Scott lifted the body. But when he said take the body out, I went. I did a massive gulp, and if you go frame by frame, you can see me acting.
So what's the name of the movie?
It's about pygmies, and I don't know. It's about Thingy Livingston. You know, the guy up in Scotland somewhere. He was a professor of some sorts, and he discovered.
Oh, like Dr. Livingston, I presume.
That one, yeah. And he saved some pygmies, and he brought them back to the UK, and then we killed them because we didn't like them.
Or we'd run out of cows and just wanted something to roast.
Exactly. He wasn't roasting pig. Well, this pygmy that I had to lift up, you could have roasted her, and you would have got quite a lot of good eating out of her because she was beast.
Wow, blimey. So, anyway,
and Kristen Scott Thomas, she was in the movie. You know Kristen Scott Thomas from Mission Impossible fame.
Yep,
the most popular film I could think of. She, right, when you were on set at night, they brought this little tray, this little like locker thing with loads of trays on, and it had like sausage rolls and all manner of pasties and shit like that. It was stuff you wouldn't normally eat. And it was all like there. But at the top, there was a top tray that said, Kristen Scott Thomas, do not touch. So we were trying to pay this plumber. We were like saying to him, we'll give you like half of our pay for this thing that we're getting paid to do. We'll give you half of it if you eat Kristen Scott Thomas's bait. And he went over and he opened it and he nearly spewed because it was like all vol au vent and stuff with green shit in it.
No, never that.
And the thing is,
I'll just take a pasty.
The thing is, she looks like she needs a meal. So, you know.
Is she still alive? Or?
Kristen Scott Thomas? Yes.
Yeah, oh, well, fair enough.
She's all over the place.
Fair play. So
yeah, that was an interesting story.
Wasn't it? So thank you for sticking around.
You can also find us. No, that's all the pimpage done. But yeah, please do get on the Facebook, get on the Twitter, follow, like. If you're on the iTunes, give us a rating review. If you're on anything, just subscribe, because that's the only way you're going to get our new, fresh shit the day it drops.
Yes.
Yeah, that was...
I don't care for that analogy.
I don't care for it much myself, but it's staying in.
So what have you got on tonight's episode, Kev?
Tonight's episode is jammy-packed like a jammy dodger. I felt a bit like Alan Partridge there. That's the sort of crap he was.
It was a bit wanky, to be honest. So we've got a bit of news for you. We've got an impromptu top 5 later on.
Yep.
And we've also got a review of a movie nobody really likes.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Oh, we're going to set the world right on this.
Yeah.
Are we going to do this tonight?
Yes, we are.
We will do this tonight.
Yes, it's time. It's time.
A shocking movie that people seem to shockingly hate, that I found shocking that people are shockingly hating it.
What Kev said, the movie is Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh, so not the Bill Murray one? I thought we were doing the Bill Murray one.
Shut up. So we'll get to that shortly. We will get to that.
Because we have our regular little things we've been watching section.
Exactly. So we've also got, later on in the show, a cracking interview that we've just recorded, or just finished recording about 3.5 hours ago since we started recording this episode.
And then I told my story about being on film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A long time, like.
Took some time up, isn't it?
I know. Anyway, so it is an awesome interview.
He was awesome.
It was. So the interview is about a documentary that's going to come out very, very soon.
Next
Tuesday. And the documentary is about the infamous Fantastic Four movie from 1994?
Roughly that time. 92, 94.
Yeah.
The Roger Corman movie.
Exactly. So if anybody doesn't know, if you're a movie fan, you know this story.
Yep.
Basically, to keep the rights to Fantastic Four, Fox and Constantine Films made Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
On a very, very low budget. It was perhaps never intended to be released, or it was never actually released. And this is a documentary about that story, and it's fucking great. So we hope you'll enjoy that interview.
Yeah.
We certainly did.
We certainly did, and we will be tacking on a little probably a little 5-10 minute review of what we thought of the documentary ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's just do a bit of news, buddy.
Let's go for it.
I'll let you start because you're the commander-in-chief of the news desk.
Wow, blimey.
You're the Jonah Jane Jameson of this place.
I quite like that.
I know you do.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm more the Perry White, but the Lawrence Fishburne version.
Yes, you are, definitely. So, first bit, hope you already mentioned this, but, we're going to do it anyway, is that we are getting a live-action Lion King.
Wowzers!
From Jon Favreau.
Is this just because of Jungle Book?
I think it is.
Do we need a live-action Lion King?
No, we don't, but I would have, a few months ago said we didn't need a live-action Jungle Book. And the live-action Jungle Book was fucking fantastic.
It was good.
I am going to give Jon Favreau a pass here. And
it's Jon Favreau. He can do what he wants.
You know what? Go for it. Do I think it's going to work as well as Jungle Book? No, I don't. Because there are no humans.
Is James Earl Jones going to be in it?
Oh.
Because they'll do voices, won't they? Because they did in Jungle Book.
Yeah. Well.
But that's the thing. The whole thing about the Jungle Book,
why not?
The whole beauty of that live-action Jungle Book movie, the animals look great, CGI is fantastic, but the kid that plays Mowgli is genuinely an awesome little actor.
Exactly.
That's the only thing that kept me going in that movie. If it was a movie without Mowgli, I probably wouldn't be watching it.
But then it wouldn't be the Jungle Book, would it?
Well, no, it wouldn't. It would just be something else.
It'd be Lion King.
Lion King. Or Jungle Book without
So
Mowgli.
anyway, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. Because of the Jungle Book, give it a go. Why not?
Yeah, I'm fine, and Jon Favreau can do no wrong.
There's a lot of love for the Lion King, myself included.
It can only fail. So
well, exactly.
And as Brigger's brother, so on the nose says every 2 minutes, it's Disney. So
well, I love me a bit of Disney, and when we get to our top 5 later on, which by the way is top 5.
Did we not say that?
We didn't, did we? No.
It was important.
It's a mess. It's 12:20. Shut up. So the top 5. The top 5 is the top 5 movies that you watched as a kid that you would still watch. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a bit wordy?
Something along those lines. Yeah. That's as wordy as I usually do.
Movies that you watched as a kid that you'd still watch.
Yes.
Be fine. Right. Anyway.
So my first bit of news
is
the regular section that has become part and parcel of this show. I just want to let you know how Ocean's 8 is coming along.
Brilliant.
What?
Fantastic.
Come on.
Go for it.
You really want to watch this movie. So the cast has been announced and they have actually confirmed a date. So mark it down in your calendar, Chris. June 2018, you will be watching Ocean's 8.
I'll be dead by then. Fucking hell.
Hopefully not, because we'll have about... I can't do maths as quick as you, so I can't figure that one out. But yeah, so it's still being it's still being headed up by Sandra Bullock. She's still going to be playing the Danny Ocean, probably Danielle Ocean character. Kate Blanchett is 100% on board.
You know what? Kate Blanchett. I like a bit of Sandra Bullock as well.
Sandra Paulson from American Horror Stories.
Which one's she?
She's the one with the weird face. She's got quite a big, long face. She played the two-headed one in
Oh,
Freak Show.
fine. I like her.
Yeah,
she's a good actress. She's a cracking actress.
Come on, rude boy, get it on. Rihanna is still in this movie.
To quote Dev,
Oh, but come on, she's going to be
not Rihanna.
She's literally going to be like
the rest of this. I'm looking at your screen right now, Kev, and the rest of this cast, and then Rihanna.
We're gonna rub the bang, get it on. We're gonna be Rihanna.
That would be brilliant if she actually did that.
We're gonna rob the bank. She's not gonna do that.
No, she's not.
Anne Hathaway's
Fine, absolutely fine.
love it. Helena Bonham Carter.
Yep.
Mindy Kaling.
Yep.
From the Mindy Show.
Yep.
And is that a person's name?
Alqua.
It's like Aquafina.
That'll do.
Aye.
I don't know who that is.
Doesn't have a second name.
Is it like Cher?
Must be.
Right.
But yeah, Rihanna and all that good stuff.
You know, we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters in a little wee while.
Well,
which
yeah.
we kind of didn't see coming when I put that movie on. I didn't expect to like it, so I'm not gonna shit all over Ocean's whatever anymore.
Let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens.
It's got a good cast.
It's got a great cast. I mean,
So,
Rihanna.
Why the hell not?
Rihanna?
But next bit of news.
Ooh.
Is the Blade Runner sequel is going to be called Blade Runner 2049. The release date 6th of October 2017.
Oh, that's a bit.
Do we care?
Should you not have just released it in 2049?
I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd hopefully be gone by then. So.
Seriously, I've got no interest in this movie.
I've not really got an interest. I mean, it got put in the 365 picks on the last episode.
Yeah, it was Mark, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
and I give it a little bit of a break because he put it in there, but I still don't be needing a sequel.
No, and you know, it was put in there by a ginger, so it doesn't really count. Anyway.
Oh my god! The Batman.
What?
The Batman.
What?
That is the title of the standalone Batman movie. Apparently, this is news.
The Batman.
The Batman. Since Affleck came on board, people have been saying it was going to be called The Batman, but they have now officially announced that it's being called The Batman.
Okay.
I'm alright with it. I mean, you couldn't call it Batman because Michael Keaton had Batman.
All the way through Batman vs Superman, you know, Tony from Jock and Nerd's favourite movie.
Yep.
And which he added to the 365 picks.
Spoilers, we'll be getting to that.
Yep.
But yeah, he did.
Spoilers. They were calling it the Bat of Gotham.
The Bat of Gotham.
Could they not called it that? I would have been okay with that.
The Bat of Gotham.
The Bat of Gotham?
No.
No?
No, that's just like, no.
Is that just stupid?
That's stupid.
Alright, okay, back
Like
on.
maybe Gotham Bat. Or Bat Goth. Goth Bat? Nah. The Batman, I'm happy with it.
Hashtag back off.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. I can't do quick hashtags.
Hashtag
tomorrow.
Hashtag truffle shuffle. So while we're on DC news,
Yep, go for it.
a trailer came out and it's been announced Suicide Squad is getting an unrated extended cut of the movie. Don't me. This is the best news we could have possibly got.
Why is it the best news? It was still it was a good movie to start with.
Yes, but we also said that about Batman vs Superman, and then we got the extended cut, which made a good movie better.
Yeah.
So this will make a good movie better.
Right. So there's 13 minutes to be added. No, that's bullshit.
13 minutes to be added to the extended cut, with 12 minutes of that being Joker.
I'm not interested.
That's not a fact.
I'm not interested.
Why?
Fucking 13 minutes. It's like fucking Blade Runner.
But imagine how happy...
So the new cut has got an extra 30 seconds, which is going to completely change the fucking tone of the film.
Yep.
Fuck you. I keep seeing on Facebook that The Martian is getting a...
The Martian?
The Martian with Matt Damon.
Oh, not the Christopher Lloyd movie from back in the day?
No.
No.
The Martian is getting an extended cut with 12 minutes. 12 fucking minutes, people! 12 minutes of extra footage. I don't care about 12 minutes. Fuck off.
How dare you, sir?
13 minutes.
How dare you, sir?
13 minutes. What the fuck is that going to
do? More Will Smith.
I'm not interested. I am not buying that. I might buy that.
You will buy that. I'll tell you who will be buying it.
Anthony
from the Jock and Nerd.
Bless him.
Will be proud to have
He
that
does
next
like
to
his
his
DCU.
extended cut.
He likes his DCU.
It'll be pride of place right next to his extended cut of BVS.
And his big poster on the wall of Henry Cavill.
Yep, definitely. He's definitely got one of them. Right next to a poster of Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Signed.
Bald.
He queued up for hours for Henry Cavill and fucking I was going to say Mark Zuckerberg. That's not right.
Well, that's what Imran told us. He told us on the direct messages.
Oh, he creating shit between the Jock and Nerd.
I don't think that's possible. Them two's tight.
He can't be doing that.
Them two's tight like brothers. You'll be fine.
He can't be doing that. Anyway, so that's Blade Runner. Yeah, meh.
No.
And meh. And
we were actually talking about Suicide Squad.
yeah, no. Meh to that as well. Just meh all over the fucking place. Meh. Yeah. Now here's one that might interest you maybe. Is Natalie Portman?
No, I'm out.
Has done a movie about Jackie Kennedy or Jackie Onassis if you
I
want.
read about
It's
this,
called Jackie. And it's basically the story of Jackie Kennedy told, the whole JFK assassination, all that kind of thing, before the assassination, and then the aftermath of the assassination from the point of Jackie. I'm up for that.
I'm up for it, as long as they play with the conspiracy theorists' minds and have her shoot 'em. Because that's a theory, isn't it?
Is it a theory?
So wouldn't that be? It would be quite funny if they did that. If they had like a little scene where it was like questionable as to whether or not Jackie shot him, I'd watch it.
Wow.
I'm going to watch it anyway. But...
Wow. I'll watch that, and I read that they're already screaming Oscar bait for it.
Oh, yeah. But everything that comes out between now and January is going to be screaming Oscar bait.
Yeah.
So,
Although I watched the trailer for it before, and it was a good trailer.
yeah. Did it scream Oscar bait?
Well, it had Oscar on the screen. So
Oscar bait!
give me an Oscar.
Yeah.
Motherfuck.
Yeah, they do that, don't they?
I'm white, give me an Oscar.
How
Anyway,
dare
so
you, sir?
what's your next bit of news?
How dare you, sir? I don't know if you ever played Gears of War. Did you ever play Gears of
No,
War?
I saw you play it one time.
Gears of War is probably one of... Everybody loves Call of Duty. Gears of War is my Call of Duty. It's not as realistic. It is a bit fucking mental. You're taking down like the Clint Athel from like Starship Troopers and stuff. It's a great game. They've been teasing and teasing and teasing and teasing for years. Like, there's websites where you can go that people have actually cast this movie. Like, people have put a lot of thought into casting this movie. It's coming. Gears of War is finally looking like it's going to be made. Only thing is, with it being like a Gears of War movie, and there's a muckle big brute in it called Dominic, I think he's called. The first name that everybody's shouting is The Rock.
Oh, no.
I'm happy seeing The Rock in movies, but I'm kind of like...
The Rock's better than that.
Let's not scream The Rock for every movie,
No.
please.
No.
But
he's going to overextend himself.
He is. He's going to become boring, and people...
What about Batista?
Batista will be in there.
Get Batista in there.
I actually casted this movie. Like I said, everybody was doing it. But I had Michael Clarke Duncan in it, and obviously that's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
But I had him in it, and he would have been perfect for it. I'm a little bit worried now because I look at the talent that's out there right now, and I don't see anybody really who it's going to end up being The Rock and Vin Diesel are going to be in this movie, and I don't want that.
No, I'm not. That's not really something that interests me because I never played it.
Yeah,
So
I know. I didn't know if you had played it, but it's something that as soon as it hit my radar, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I am in. I want to watch this." The games, not so much the second game. The second game was a bit pishy cacky. The first game and the third game, the storyline was phenomenal, and I'm sure the fourth game, I think it's coming out very soon. But the first and the third were just great, like proper emotionally kind of pulls you in. Whereas at the same time, you're using your gun as a chainsaw and ripping apart aliens.
blimey.
But there's cut scenes in it where you sit there and go, shit, this is good. So yeah, Gears of War, apparently it's coming. I'm happy to see that. I don't necessarily think we should be shouting Dwayne The Rock Johnson though.
No.
I'd quite like to see...
Don't automatically just shout that name.
There's 4 main characters. I'd quite like to see maybe one of them being a big name, but I'd like to see the other 3 being, lesser known people. And let's just get in with the story, because the story itself is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would. It would make a great movie. It would make a great movie, and it's coming.
Fair enough.
So there you go.
Would you like a bit of Marvel news?
No.
Netflix Marvel.
Come
Got
on,
John Bernthal in it.
Who's that?
Punisher.
Shane.
Yep.
Just call him Shane.
Yeah. So Shane is filming the Punisher series right now.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him.
And apparently Karen Page is going to be in it from Daredevil.
Meh.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay, but I'm not. I've not been vibing on these Netflix shows.
Well, I have on 2 of them, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later on in a minute.
We'll get there.
Now in a minute. Aye. I'm okay with that, yeah. I can't wait for the Punisher series. John Bernthal rocked as the Punisher.
It's
so,
going to be good.
Yeah.
I still would have rather they brought back Tom Jane, but
fuck no.
I'm happy enough with John Bernthal.
No.
I'm happy enough with that.
Yeah.
What do you make of what Hobie said on the last episode about Daredevil possibly going into the MCU but recasting him?
No, absolutely not.
Well, why not?
Recasting Daredevil?
Hmm?
No.
Well, they can't have him because
Why not?
It's not connected.
Well, it is connected.
It's connected as in, what was it? I said on somebody's Facebook page. I think it was the movie pilot page, the creators page, and they were talking about how if you could have one Netflix character go into the MCU, who would it be? And they were like going through this whole thing, and everybody was talking about it. I said, look, it's not going to happen. All right, it's literally a case of the MCU, the movies are saying to the TV shows, you can exist, you can play in our sandpit, but you can't play with us. They've said it. They've said it countless times. The Netflix series isn't going to go in to the movies. They're referencing it. I know they're doing that.
They're referencing it, yeah.
But they're not going to go into it. We're not going to see Charlie
I agree
Cox.
with you. I don't think we're going to see it, but Charlie Cox is a damn fine actor, and he's probably a better actor than a lot of the cast of the movies.
Oh yeah, 100% agree with you. Daredevil's like the one Netflix show that I think is hitting. Mm-hmm. I think it's hitting every beat for me.
So yeah, personally, I don't see it happening. But don't recast him. That's bullshit.
It is. They don't need to, but they will.
That's bollocks.
If they're gonna recast, just don't do it.
Don't start fucking about doing that.
They shouldn't, but we know it's gonna happen.
Timing.
And that'll be when Phase 4 comes and everybody's not giving a fuck about Marvel movies anymore anyway. So there you go.
What else you got?
DCU is the place to be.
What else you got?
I don't actually have any other news. I just have a little article that I would like to share at the end of the news. So if you have anything else you want to...
Yeah, I've got one more bit.
Ooh.
And it's a bit of a Doctor Who-iness. Matt Smith has said that he wishes that he hadn't quit Doctor Who so quickly.
Wow. Because the only thing he's done since is a crappy Ryan Gosling movie.
And like about an 1/8 of a Terminator movie.
An 8th? That wasn't an 8th.
Or 16th of a Terminator movie.
I was like...
A 30-tooth.
30-tooth. Yeah, okay. I thought
a 30-tooth. A 32nd? A 32nd. Whatever.
He was in it for 30 seconds.
A bit of a Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Yep,
he was in it.
Yep,
got a poster. He got a poster.
You got a poster? Yep, that's on his wall, bless him. Yeah. I wish you hadn't quit it either, to be honest. I like Matt Smith.
Who was he before?
He was the Doctor.
He was after Tennant, but before Capaldi?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't watch Doctor Who, you know that?
Yeah, but you know who he is.
I know who Matt Smith is. It's that guy in Terminator Genesis.
Him. Fucker.
So, an article grabbed my eye today, and I wanted to share it with you because we've done previous episodes where we've talked about video game movies, and we are currently talking to a couple of lads from another podcast about doing a bit of a crossover, and I thought this might be interesting. Basically, there are 28 video game movie adaptations currently in development that we know of. Would you like to maybe hazard a guess at some of these?
Mario.
What, because there's a picture of Mario?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Oh yes, you fucking did. It's not on there.
Mario's not on there.
I mean, you've got the ones we already know about. We know Assassin's Creed because
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Nah. We've got Assassin's Creed 2 apparently has already been sorted.
Okay.
An Asteroids movie.
Asteroids.
A Roland Emmerich Asteroids movie.
Oh, shite.
No. I'd be up for
No.
that. A Borderlands movie? You play Borderlands?
No.
Nah, neither did I. Call of Duty Cinematic Universe is apparently on the cards.
No.
Oh, that shut you up, didn't it? Yeah, you're into that one. Hey. Deus Ex?
No.
No.
Never played it.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I have played that. That would be fucking insane as a movie. Personally, I'd prefer it as it's got to be animated. You can't be like having like killer teddy bears, please. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. I used to play that. Michael Bay's attached. Yes, explosions. Gran Turismo. Would that not just be Fast and the Furious?
That is pretty much Fast and Furious. Yeah.
Kane and Lynch. I remember Bruce Willis used to be attached to that.
I don't know what that is.
Who's attached to it now? Bruce Willis and Jamie Foxx. I'm alright with that. Yeah. No, sorry.
No, because Bruce Willis doesn't give a fuck anymore, so...
Gerard Butler and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, why not?
Vin Diesel and The Rock.
I put The Rock in there, why not?
The Last of Us is apparently getting a movie.
I ain't got a PS4, so I don't know. You know, apparently it's good. I hear it's good.
Mass Effect. Metal Gear Solid.
Mass Effect I'd be interested in. I've played Mass Effect.
Kombat!
It's done on the bloody... What's his name? With...
Mortal Kombat!
They've just done a new movie with it. With Mortal Kombat.
When?
With Thingy.
When?
With Thingy.
Christopher Lambert.
No.
Who?
No. Belgian fella. What's his name again?
Van Damme.
Yep. They just did another one with him.
A Mortal Kombat with Van
Yeah.
Damme.
Didn't
No.
they?
No.
They did. Mortal Kombat Summer or Nothing.
Mortal Kombat Summon or Nothing. No. That doesn't count.
Hold the fuck on.
Well, apparently James Wan is doing it. He did Saw, Insidious, The Conjuring, Fast and Furious 7, and he's doing Aquaman. So I'm into that.
Ugh.
A Minecraft movie? That will be shit.
No, I've never played that either.
A
So.
Raven Rabbids movie? I just don't get that. Resident Evil. the
Raven
final
Rabbids
chapter.
movie?
Yeah, we know the Resident Evil movie's coming. Those are Splinter Cells. Ryan Reynolds is probably going to be in Spy Hunter, because why the fuck not? Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
A Marky Mark driven Uncharted movie.
Meh. I've never played it, so...
It's either going to be Marky Mark or Chris Pratt. That's the only two you could have.
I don't know what I was thinking of. I thought he'd done a play.
Were you not thinking of Mortal Kombat? Best theme tune ever.
Move
So
on.
yeah, that's 28 games, even though I probably named about 5. Let's just move on to the next section.
Yeah.
Are we done with the news? Oh no.
Well, we have.
We are not done with the news.
We have a pretty big bit of news.
Oh, are we signed?
Same with who?
Sony.
No.
Is that because Amy Pascal's been listening?
Yeah.
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 It wouldn't happen if she'd been listening.
She did send you an email.
It was
So-
a strongly worded email.
This is something that we've been working on for a little while now.
Oh, have we?
Yeah. I first started it in December last year.
Is it
So-
my abs?
Is that in the same place as my abs?
No.
Right, okay. So it's something that we've been working on for a little while now, but we're finally ready to go.
About 2.5 years.
Anyway. So we now,
Okay.
on episode fucking 50,
Mm-hmm.
2 and a bit years in, we have a store. Oosh.
What can you get in the store?
So merchandise, people. We have fucking merchandise. All your 365y goodness merchandisey needs.
Podcasting needs.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, we've launched a store. It's you're going to find the link on the Facebooks and the Twitters.
To be fair, it's been launched for about a month.
Well,
but
yeah.
we just kept forgetting to tell people.
No, we were taking our time and
Okay.
getting the products right. You've got to
And getting rid of the copyright problems.
You've got to get rid of the copyright problems. You're wearing one of them right now.
Yep.
We had a design, which I did. I'm still quite proud of it.
Yeah.
and it's got Superman and Captain America on it. So
we could give this,
and Batman.
We could give this one away as a limited edition.
And Wolverine. And we were told that we weren't allowed to use it. But we're on there. We're fucking on there. So don't tell me I can't use my likeness.
Don't tell me it didn't happen.
Exactly. I saw it happen. So anyway, we've got a store now.
Yes, we have.
You can find T-shirts and you can find mugs and baseball caps and baby bibs and fuck knows what else. I'll put them all on there. I can't remember any of them. So there's all sorts of different T-shirts and what have you on there, baseball tops and jerseys and all that kind of thing. Different styles. It's got our 365 Flicks logo, what I designed as well. Awesome, tidy. Mm-hmm. And different sayings from the show.
Yep.
You know,
adding more as we go.
Oh yeah. So, what we want you to do is go to your Tinternet. And go to shop.spreadshirt.co.uk/365flicks.
That's us.
That's us.
Cool.
And you can buy all sorts of different 365-y goodness on there.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Isn't it?
I'm quite happy with it.
So, buy some T-shirts, people.
And if you don't, we won't do any more episodes. So there you go.
Yeah, we will. Yeah,
we will.
We've got 350 more to do before we can retire.
Oh, that sounds like a hard slog.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Ugh, that was flat.
But yeah, he's just read out the address for you. I will be throwing it on the Facebook and the Twitter and all that, so the links will be there. The links will be on the website. There'll be a page on the website. I'll do all that, hopefully before this episode goes out, so this sounds kind of redundant, me saying it.
We can time it right.
Yeah.
So episode 50 lands just as you go.
Okay.
I just did a David Brent thing. Anyway,
yes.
So once again, that's shop.spreadshirt.co.uk/365flicks. And I've had a beer, I didn't get fucking smack a mouth. So
wow.
fuck you.
So, that's the news done. Let's play a quick cheeky little promo from one of our buddies. And we will move on to the next section, which is...
What have been watching?
Yay!
Hey guys, this is Nick from the Epic Film Guys podcast, and you are listening to the 365 Flicks podcast. Not only your source for great movie news, outside of our own podcast, of course, but also your source for everything from The Walking Dead. And all of this comes from a pissy ex-video store clerk and a Scottish Whedon whore. Your vocal heroes of pissy opinion. It is, again, the 365 Flicks podcast. Please jump over to iTunes and give them a rating and follow them on Twitter at 365 Flicks Pod. And now here's a little taste of what the Epic Film Guys podcast is all about.
Even when the composer wasn't that great, they were like no-namers, but they come up with these iconic themes, which
even films
you
that
get
are complete,
in your head.
Even films that are complete shitfests, like
garbage.
Stallone's Judge Dredd. Dun 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 dun. Like that theme is so iconic, it sticks
Don't
right in
call
your
that
head.
movie shit. We both know that's your favorite movie of all time. All right,
It definitely is one of them. I will readily admit to that.
a little bit. Let's put a little more lighthearted feel in this.
What are you doing
retrospect.
down there, Judge Hershey?
Waiting for backup. Hey, Diane
It's
Lane.
here.
Diane Lane, man.
Nick and Justin of the Epic Film Guys.
I love those guys. Did you listen to the Lethal Weapon special that they did?
I didn't know. No, I didn't.
It was good.
I've let the site down there. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
No, I'm saying sorry to them, not to you.
Oh,
I am sorry about that.
well, fuck you then.
So yeah, this is the section where we are going to do the what have we been watching. We have some TV shows, we have some movies to talk about.
I'm going to be pissy here.
I know you will, but first of all, let's just get to that awesome, juicy little...
Yeah, because I am not pissy about this because I
No.
really fucking enjoyed it.
Yep, so Uncork'd Entertainment got in touch with us and sent us a cheeky little screener of this documentary that's coming out. It's going to be wide released on October the 11th, which is next Tuesday. Today is Friday? Saturday? Yeah, it's officially Saturday now.
It's Saturday, yeah.
Oh, God. So it's coming out on Tuesday, the 11th October. It's going to be wide released on all sorts of streaming sites. The man will let us know, because there was like voodoo, and
there was all
loads.
sorts.
There was
Yeah,
loads.
yeah.
If it's a streaming site, it'll be on there. Just look for it. The movie is a documentary called Doomed, the untold story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. Because not everybody knows that movie, if you have seen it, you are watching it illegally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much. Because the movie got made. Roger Corman was asked to make the movie on a budget of, I think it was $1 million.
$1 million.
And he made the movie. He was getting ready to put the movie out there. And it got shelved. It got pulled. And this documentary is kind of the story behind it all.
Yeah.
And what happened. And it's a great documentary.
It's a great documentary. And I think I said, I said before, if you're a movie fan, or comic book movie fan anyway, then chances are that you know about the story of this movie being made and never being released. And when you told me that these guys had got in touch with us, and fucking excited to watch it, I really was. It's a fascinating documentary.
It is, because like you say, it's been part of the cultural zeitgeist for years. Like, everybody sort of knows, but they don't know the full ins and outs. It's sort of like whatever happened. To be perfectly honest, I've heard the conversations, but I thought it had been released. Like, I remember watching this movie as a youngster. I remember seeing this movie, so I'm thinking, well, that's a lot of bullshit, because it did get released and I did watch it. Don't tell me it didn't happen. That's the second time I've done that tonight.
You've been watching Star Trek.
I have, yeah. And I kept thinking to myself, no, that came out. But then, like, when I watched this documentary, it's like, yeah, shit, like, that shit got real.
Some of the stuff that they were saying, it actually got kind of sinister.
It did a little bit. It kind of felt a little bit, but I think it's more the fact that all these people had put so much of their life into it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when your baby gets pulled away from you. When it gets pulled away from you at the finish line, that must be... But it does. As I was watching it, like, there was a few moments during the interviews where I'm sitting there going, Jesus, how can that happen? How can you ask someone? How can you give someone the money? Or how can you ask somebody to put their money into it?
Yeah.
Because Roger Corman put a lot of money into it himself.
Well, they all did, though, didn't they?
Pretty much,
not put money in necessarily, but certainly paying for different aspects of the promotional, the promotional side of it and what have you. And, yeah, as I said, some of the stuff that they're saying regarding, people coming up and saying, so have you filmed your final scene yet? And all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got, some of it sounded a little bit sinister.
It's a bit...
So we're not going to say any more about the story of it or anything like that, because we want you to watch this documentary. It's a great documentary.
It is.
And we just can't recommend it highly enough. So we're going to play an interview, a quick half-hour interview with the director of the documentary. Mm-hmm. He's a great guy, and we really, really enjoyed speaking to him earlier on tonight. And play it now.
It was quite possibly one of my favourites so far. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, I really enjoyed speaking to the guy. It was...
But, I mean, I say it in when we first started speaking to him, to Marty, it's just such an infamous story. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't wait to speak to him about it. And I couldn't wait to watch the documentary, and it didn't disappoint.
And no better person to speak to, because the passion is there.
Definitely.
Very much there.
Definitely.
So, I will play that interview right now with Marty Langford, the director of Doomed, the untold story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, the movie that Stan Lee says was never intended to be seen by anyone. His own words. I'm not paraphrasing. They are his words. And so the interview is already in progress, and we will come back to tell you about some other stuff that we've been watching recently. And I think Chris is going to get heated.
Yeah. I'm not happy at all.
Maybe turn the heating down in your house for this one. Open a window.
Yeah.
Because I think the fumes is coming out of the ears.
Yeah.
But for now...
We'll play that interview first.
But for now, we'll play the interview. Doomed, the untold story. and it's going to be available on wide release streaming sites October the 11th, and then DVD and Blu-ray
in December 20th.
20th. Yep. And here you go.
I've had a lot of strange experiences after all these years in the film business, but I have to say the Fantastic Four ranks somewhere near the top.
It's clobbering time.
Like a phantom, this film.
Strange.
It was like a feeling that I've never experienced before.
It's a piece of history.
I never would have thought then, was it 20 years later, that I'd be sitting here talking about it.
This thing just won't die.
Expect trouble.
I didn't know then, all of the machinery that had been at work.
It was the seedy, dark side of Hollywood.
We really wanted people to see this.
How many movies did Roger Corman make and never release? 1.
Wait a minute. Why? We're gonna let them take this movie away from us and not get anything out of it? We gotta show people that we made a movie. That's how you get another job.
All this effort and time and all the work that went into making that film, and then pointless, meaningless.
This film was never really intended to be a film. And I said, oh yeah? You watch.
I think this documentary I think it's about time.
Hopefully, we might be like the last piece of this whole puzzle.
The great untold, never-seen version, the original Fantastic Four.
Finally, after 20 years, this story is going to be told.
Unfortunately, this version of the Fantastic Four really was doomed.
Do a little review on the episode that we'll either put before or after the interview, just of the the documentary before it comes out.
I hope you liked it.
Well, we will get to that. But yeah, we'll be putting that in before. It'll be spoiler free. I mean, we'll not delve too deeply into it because we just want people to go out and watch it. Really.
Great.
So we are joined now by Marty Langford, who is a director, writer, producer, and he is on to talk about the movie we've either just reviewed or will review next. A documentary called Doomed, which is being released on, is it October, Marty, the 11th?
It is, this coming Tuesday.
So everybody get out there, because it's going to be on all the streaming services. Basically, from what I read, it's going to be everywhere.
And definitely go and watch it, or download it, or stream it, or what have you, because Kev and I have both watched it, and it is fascinating, Marty.
Oh, geez. Oh, I'm so happy. Good. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, that was a bit of a spoiler there. We were going to save that bit for later.
I know you scared me a little bit off air. You said you'd let me know what you thought of it, but I'm glad. Thank you.
No. The movie in question is Doomed, the untold story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four. Now, Marty, we've both watched many documentaries about things that have happened and things that have come out, but this is a documentary about a movie that potentially was never meant to be made.
Potentially.
Never meant to be released. So
yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in the whole subject of the Roger Corman's Fantastic Four?
Yeah, sure. Well, I worked with a guy named Mark Sykes. I worked at him and his father's comic book store for a lot of years. Mark moved out to L.A. I live in the East Coast of Massachusetts of the United States. Mark moved all the way out to the West Coast and started interning for Roger Corman back in the early 90s. And he was actually Roger Corman's receptionist, of all things, and his casting assistant. And Mark was there when they got the news that they were going to start making this version of the Fantastic Four. They were just dumbfounded. So I knew about it as it was developing, but I mean back then, this is 92, so I mean the internet really wasn't around and Mark was busy and we spoke every so often, but I mean the big news came out when a magazine called Film Threat came out in 94. And that had this big cover story on it with all this coverage. And I mean, I've just always been superhero obsessed, movie obsessed, and I just had to see it, and it went away, and there was so little communication to the outside world about what happened, and a decade went by until it leaked. The bootleg kind of came out, And I still remember finding that at a horror movie convention, that I always used to go to. So, another decade goes by, and I was always just kind of waiting, like everybody else. What happened? What was the whole story? And some of the story came out about, the rights and this German company that was, frantic to go into production or else they'd lose the option. So that was known, but, what wasn't known was, the stories of the filmmakers, the cast and the crew. So, after having waited so long, Mark and I just decided to go ahead and find out ourselves.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because it's an infamous story.
Yes.
I mean, any film fan, any comic book fan knows the story of this movie that never came out. But yeah, it was just
nobody's ever really gone into it. Have they?
Exactly, yeah. And when Kev told me about this documentary that we were going to look at, I couldn't wait to watch it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, there's been this like little kind of resurgence of this kind of movie with that the Superman Lives documentary on Tim Burton's Superman, and what else? Oh, did you guys see Jodorowsky's Dune?
I haven't. I have heard of it, but I've not seen it.
Terrific. It's terrific. And that was, both of those were documentaries about movies that were like almost made, right? And and this holds such a, people misuse the word unique, they always modify it with something, but this really is a unique situation in Hollywood where a movie was made for, reasons unforeseen and unknown, only to, never come out. So that was just fascinating to me.
So you mentioned Mark Sykes was your producer on this, and he was also the casting director on the original movie.
Casting assistant.
Casting assistant.
Yeah. Yep.
So how invaluable was he to this project to get the people? Because you speak to a lot of people in this movie, and some of them is like, even Roger Corman himself appears in the documentary, which I was quite kind of blown away by a little bit, actually.
Yeah, it was great. Well, the thing that's great is that Mark is, he's now a casting director.
Yeah.
So when an actor gets a call by a casting director, then they pick up the phone because it's a gig for him. So Mark was able to, really reach out and contact all these guys, all of the interview subjects we had. And so, he was invaluable for that. And his other role, too, was, I waited to interview him last because, I didn't know what I was going to get from these guys, from all the actors and the director and the editor and Corman and the producer and the VP of marketing and all these other guys. So I figured that I could get all of their stories, and at the very end, I'd interview Mark and I'd kind of know what holes I had to fill. So I would, ask him leading questions if there was like some little piece of the puzzle that, or of the narrative that they didn't cover. Mark would just, fill in for us. So he was invaluable, up front and during the edit.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible. One of the things that struck me as well when I was watching it was the sheer love of the project, that the people that were, the actors and the people behind the scenes as well, the sheer love of the movie, of the project in general.
Yeah.
Towards the end, we'll not, go into any spoilers or anything, but, they were paying for a lot of things themselves and what have you.
Yeah.
So, when you were interviewing them, people, all these guys who'd poured their souls into this movie, was it hard for you at times, Marty, interviewing these people? Did they, what was it like interviewing them and listening to their stories?
Definitely. A couple of them were pragmatic. It was a gig. They moved on and they've put it behind them. But they were happy to, recount their memories. But for others, it was this trauma in their lives and in their careers, because they thought that this was going to be their break, and this was going to be their step up into Hollywood, to have this major franchise behind them. They were thinking, sequels and spin-offs and all these residuals, and they got nothing, and they knew nothing. That was the heartbreak. They did not know, as they were doing it and after they had done it, what happened. So they too didn't know the whole story, which was fascinating to me, because after they had first seen the documentary, they were like, wow, I didn't realize this and I didn't realize that. And it was just so rewarding to hear it, from them.
Yeah.
I mean, on that, there was a few times during the documentary where I'm sitting there, and they're doing their little interviews, and there was a couple of moments where I kind of sat back and I went, "Holy shit!" You know, like I was kind of like, "Oh my god, how could that happen? How could people let that happen?" Was there any moments that you were really sort of during the interview process really taken aback by any one piece of like information you were given?
Yeah, I mean, I was when after they finished the movie and they started to get an idea that there wasn't that much support anymore. You know, there's a big push and a big rush to get the movie going, but after they were done shooting, while the director and the editor were like toiling away trying to finish the movie, they couldn't get any answers. So Alex Hyde White, who played Reed Richards. Yeah. And Michael Bailey Smith, who played Ben Grimm, I mean, they both took it upon themselves to start going to conventions and making appearances and literally spending their own money to try to raise awareness, for this movie and to try to get attention and almost in some way, as Alex said, to try to, maybe not force, but at least to make the studio recognize that, there's an audience for this. Yeah. And, I mean, it kind of ended up backfiring, as you see in the doc. It didn't work out like they thought it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what Chris means when it kind of right near the start of the documentary you mentioned that there's 336 people in the credit crawl at the end of the movie, and it's something that never quite happened, but you do see a lot of passion in these guys. And when they're talking about the cons, I mean, that must have been heartbreaking for those guys.
Oh, it was too. Because, I mean, the thing is that when it happened, they got attention when they were making the movie. They got press. They had a fairly high profile, even for a Roger Corman, schlocky type of movie. But when it didn't come out and when it disappeared, people just assumed that it was because it was unreleasable, because it was awful, because it was a bad movie, which wasn't the case. So, especially Ole, the director, he really got screwed because, he was, a director is responsible for the film. And when it got shelved, people were like, oh, he must be a shitty director, he must be awful. And it hurt his career. I mean, he still works, but it did him no favors, and it probably ended up hurting him a little.
I did find myself, when watching it, that Ole, the director, there was a couple of moments where, as a viewer, I did feel quite, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but I felt really kind of bad for the guy. Yeah. Because you really can see, and I don't know if he was nearly at that moment, but it seemed like at one point that he was not going to break down, but it seemed like there was going to be a few tears coming
just
out.
Painful memories kind of thing.
He looked like he was hurting, like, and when you see things like that, it makes you wonder, like, how the business can be like that.
Right. I mean, if we were to be rated, we probably would get a PG or a PG-13 rating, but it's only because Ole says the F word like 2 or 3 times, like, in anger and frustration.
And I'll tell you what, understandable.
Yeah. I was like, I'd have to cut those out if we, if we ever did need a rating, but we don't in today's world.
So when you started to put Doomed together and you had the idea of creating the documentary, was there any resistance from Marvel or anything like that, or Fox, for example?
Complete silence. I mean, we expected, like, I originally wanted to write a book because I figured I wouldn't be able to show any of the footage. I was like, well, they're just going to sue us if we show the movie. It's illegal to own it. It's illegal to view it. So as soon as we show a sequence or a frame, they're just going to come down on us. But at each time we released a trailer, at each screening, nothing's ever happened. The only thing that did happen was about a year ago, a number of months after we put the trailer out, the first trailer, we were like really taking off. We had I can tell you exactly, we had 472,000 views on the trailer. Like that's almost 500,000. That was crazy.
That's pretty good numbers.
Yeah. And one day I wake up and I go to check the number because I kept, I was so obsessed. And there's that black screen, and it's like your video has been removed by Constantine Films for copyright infringement. And I'm like, oh. And even then, we continued because we tried to reach Marvel, Fox, Constantine, and got no response through social media, emails, phone calls, voicemails, emails, everything. And even after they pulled the trailer, they still wouldn't contact us. So I recut the trailer, and what I ended up doing was we figured that it was the music. It was the original score that we had used in the trailer. We swapped that out with some other music, reposted it. Of course, we lost all those views, which blew. And that one's been up, since. But outside of that one thing, just complete silence.
Wow. Is it just a case of they just don't? I don't know.
It's weird, right?
You would think they would want to at least comment, in some way, shape, or form, but to just not respond whatsoever is crazy.
Right, and at first I was like, well, they probably just don't know about us. We're this tiny little documentary. They probably never heard of us, so they just thought we were, they probably get these kinds of requests all the time and just ignore them. But, once we did start to get some press and we started to get some, not notoriety, but, people heard about us.
Yeah.
At some point, because it's not that we treat them as this evil empire in the documentary, but their silence and their non-response kind of is telling,
Very, very.
So when we bring up that black screen at certain points and say Marvel Studios refused to comment or Constantine Films didn't return our calls, it reflects badly on them. And if they were involved, we could have gotten, their side of it anyway. But I guess
that's the thing is that you're making a documentary, so you want to show more than one side. So it's to a certain extent, it's in their interest to put their views forward.
Right. And going in, it wasn't like I necessarily knew who. Even though it's a documentary, you still need conflict. You still need good guys and bad guys, just like every movie. And we weren't sure who the antagonist was going to be. It was like, is it Corman? Was he like this awful bastard who put money over art? Or was it Marvel? Was it Fox? Was it Constantine? We weren't sure. But as we started hearing from everybody, we started, making some very, very, very educated guesses and assumptions that are, probably 99% accurate. But without their comment, it's like, dude, you just made yourselves the villains,
Pretty much.
Speaking of which, one of the things that struck me during when I was watching the documentary, and you could tell that this hurt the guys in the cast, was Stan Lee, who had been on set during the filming of the movie, and then one of the Comic-Cons later on, he pretty much just distanced himself completely from it. Did you try to contact Stan Lee at all? Was it a similar situation to Marvel and Fox and Constantine?
It was similar in that we didn't interview him, but it was different in that we did have communication with him. So we spoke to him. Well, we spoke to quote unquote his people, and they were, at first they were receptive, and they're like, oh, okay, well, let's look at Stan's schedule and let's hear a little bit more about the project. And at one point we were going to go out to Denver. He was doing Denver, Colorado. He was doing a comic convention there. And, I was like, oh, I think we got him. But ultimately, they said no. But, at least he got back to us, And he, not that he was a dick about the whole thing, but he, as we show in the documentary, he was somewhat, I don't want to say two-faced. I don't want to diss the guy because, I grew up loving Stan Lee,
Exactly, yeah.
But he wasn't a friend of our project, and he wasn't a friend of the filmmakers of the original movie either.
Yeah.
But that was the strange thing. It kind of seemed like he was at one point, and then flipped. And
yeah. And as I say, you could tell that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was on set. He visited the set, and he was hanging out, and everybody was liking him, and he's shaking hands, and a couple of the interviews tell really funny stories about him being there. And then he, then when he kind of switches, you can tell that they were upset and hurt.
Well, it's you're making a Marvel movie,
and
Stan Lee's been on the set and been speaking to you, and then he turns around and pretty much disses the movie. It's like Santa Claus punching you in the face, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's very apt. Yeah, and we were lucky to get that clip too of that video. When we were making the movie, we were on Facebook and we're trying to to gather as much stuff as we could, footage and documents, and we were contacted by a guy, Mike Marsden, I remember his name, and he supplied us with that clip, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll license it to you. It's yours." So that was good to have.
That's good that you got to show that anyway.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right.
On the Stan Lee side of things, flipping over to another guy who kind of looked like he hurt a lot of people during the documentary was Avi Arad and his story of burning all the copies.
Yeah.
Do you put any faith in that, or
no? Yeah, I mean, he's quoted as saying, it's not like we broke it. That was, again, fairly public knowledge that he said he burned the negative, which, I think Ole in the documentaries, like, we create film, we don't destroy film.
Yeah, I like that quote.
Yeah, and I just couldn't imagine we would be the first person in the history of the world to intentionally destroy, the only existing negative of a feature film for, and it would have been for a ridiculously stupid reason,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got that he was behind trying to move Marvel into, big movies and television. I mean, he never quite got him there. That happened after he left. But he wanted to make this big splash, especially with Fantastic Four. And this, I guess, he just saw, as an obstacle for that.
Yeah, it does seem like something you would just say as well.
It does, yeah. And I think, burning the negative and, destroying all of the copies, it kind of takes you into full-on conspiracy theory type territory, doesn't it? So,
right.
On conspiracy theories, and you don't have to answer this one if you don't want to, but
sure.
But through all your interviews with people and all your research, how do you maybe think that the bootleg got out there?
Oh man, it's so funny. I've been asked this, like, I've done so many interviews, and I've only been asked it like 2 or 3 times, and I've dodged it because I do know exactly how it got leaked, but it was told to us off camera, and it was told to us in confidence.
Was it Stanley?
No. No, but I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we do know how it got out, but part of the lore is that it got out and it leaked, and because people started seeing it, it started this groundswell of interest in the movie. So, and they say God bless whoever did it, because
definitely.
Yeah, people got to see the movie.
I can't remember who said it in the documentary, but there is a moment where one of the actors says the irony is that more people have probably seen it now than would have ever seen it.
Yeah, I think it was Jay Underwood.
Yeah,
it might have. Yeah, I mean, think about it, because you got, like the Captain America movie, the Albert Pune 21st century, Captain America film with Matt Salinger.
Yeah.
It would have. It just would have sat on a shelf next to that, and that would have been it, and then that story would have been over. By trying to bury it, they did the exact opposite happen. They just raised awareness, and guys like us were just crazy to get our hands on it.
Yeah, it was a as I said earlier at the start of the interview, Marty, it's an infamous story. When the god awful movie came out the other year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This story was everywhere. I read more about this story than the actual what was it, 2014 movie?
Josh Trank.
Yeah. Yeah, we piggybacked on that, didn't we? The timing was perfect because we got like Entertainment Weekly contacted us. We had a story in Variety. It was crazy. The Wall Street Journal did like a feature because everybody was talking about this new Fantastic Four movie and all the troubles it was having. And then of course the whole joke was, well, now I have to do a documentary on Josh Trank's Fantastic Four because of its post-production problems and all the issues, with that, which I'm sure is a fascinating story as well. But yeah, we really did ride that, didn't we?
If you ever get a chance, Kevin Smith done a 3-part interview. He never actually did the 3rd part, and it was with Josh Trank as a guest.
Oh yeah.
And it was interesting as all hell.
Oh, about Fantastic Four?
Yeah, it was while the movie was just about to come out. They were doing all the press and stuff like that, and I'm sure he was coming to the 3rd episode, and obviously all the reviews had started coming out, and Trank said no to the 3rd interview.
Yeah. We were going to interview Kevin Smith at one point.
For this?
Yeah. I never actually talked about it.
Good.
Just to have, we thought we might need it because this is like this tiny little movie, and we wanted it to be, as wide appeal as we could, because we knew that we're a really niche-y demographic here, comic book film geeks, and there's not many of us, all told. So we were like, well, if we can get a name, like a Kevin Smith, well, we can put his face on it and maybe he'd sell more copies or something. And to be honest with you, I remember reaching out to him, and I remember I had a discussion with somebody, and then I don't know, it just fell by the wayside. And ultimately we determined, well, what's he going to say? He's just going to give us a bunch of, he's in a lot of these for one. But I hadn't thought about that until just now. I forgot all about it.
I know what you mean. He is he's part of the cultural zeitgeist right now, and it probably would have done something. But to be fair, watching the documentary, as I have twice now, you didn't need it.
No, agreed. Completely agree.
You didn't need that at all.
Oh yeah, good then. I'm glad. The same thing kind of happened with because the screenwriter of the original movie, Craig Nevius, the guy that wrote it, we were going to interview him too. And he agreed to it, and we scheduled him. But before the interview, he contacted me like I was in LA, and he called and he's like, you sure you need to talk to me? And we had a crazy schedule, and I'm like, well, yeah, I think so. You wrote it. And he's like, I barely remember it. It was, 20 years ago. I worked for 3 weeks or a month on it. It was a job. I did a couple drafts, and then I moved on. He's like, I honestly don't remember a thing about it, and I have really nothing to say. And we were like, oh, all right. And the schedule was crammed as it was, and it was like, oh, well, we could, have a short day that day, and we ended up not interviewing him. And ultimately, I don't think we needed him,
No, I think the stories you have in there and the interviews you have in there, it's a perfect documentary the way it is. It didn't need anything like that.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I mean that as well. I'm not just saying that because you're on.
So here's the question for you, Marty. Towards the end of the documentary, there's talk of a Blu-ray edition of the movie coming out with up-to-date special effects and all that kind of thing. Do you ever think that would be a possibility?
Yeah, when I first wanted to make this documentary, it was like it was really, really, really was for like the purest of intentions. I wanted to honor the original movie. I wanted to get the cast and crew recognized, and I wanted to get to the bottom of the story. And I mean, it never once did I think, oh, maybe if it's really good and popular, there'll be enough interest, and then the potential of the original movie coming out finally would be a result. And even though that's still not necessarily the case, I've started thinking about it. And I mean, could you imagine if there was enough interest garnered with this movie that Constantine and Fox and Marvel all decide to, shake hands and say, let's jazz it up, let's release it, spend $1 million, couple $1 million, put it together with, a special edition of something else, help my movie, right? And and release it. And so we actually started a hashtag like a couple of weeks ago as we were thinking about other things we could do for marketing. Mark was like, let's start a hashtag, release Corman FF. We'll spread it around every interview. We'll pepper the world with it. We didn't really follow through, but release Corman FF, damn it, right?
Oh, definitely.
It wouldn't take that much.
No, I mean, there's petitions for everything nowadays.
Of course there is.
We'll get a petition made.
There you go. Yeah, get it started, please. Yeah, I don't have the time, but if you do it, I'll sign it.
So what are you up to right now? Are you plugging Doomed? Are you got anything else on the pipeline?
Yeah, not right now. This took, it was 3 years of just, it was a lot of work because I mean, we had no money. I did the whole thing myself in terms of, we did the whole thing ourselves. I edited the whole thing. We had 90 hours worth of footage. We interviewed Ole for 3 hours, and we, and logging that months and months and months, and then we were in legal with all the clearances for months and months and months, and I'm just tired. I'm just so tired. I teach. I teach film studies up here at a little college in Massachusetts. I've got my kids. I've had this project's been consuming me for the last 3 years, but especially for the last 6 or 8 months. So yeah, I'm relaxing, man.
Well,
but I do want to make another doc, and I love the format. I love the form. And there's a lot of stories to be told. If people can make documentaries on the Helvetica font, right? Then you can make a movie out of anything.
Absolutely.
We do a section on our podcast called the 365 Picks right now, which is where people are adding a movie to a list of 365 movies that you should see before you die. I was wondering if maybe there was a movie that would spring straight to mind for you that we could put in this list from yourself.
Miracle Mile.
Miracle Mile.
You ever heard of it?
I don't think I have, to be honest.
It's this great little indie that, from the late 80s, early 90s. Anthony Edwards, the doctor that was on ER.
Yeah.
He plays this guy who walks by a phone booth one night and picks up the phone because it's ringing. And on the other side, on the line, is this guy who's in a bunker, a military bunker. And he thinks he called his son, and he's like, the bombs are off. The world's going to end. And he, tells him that the nuclear launch codes were just initiated, and there's only 6 hours left before the world blows up. And then he hangs up. And then the whole rest of the movie is about him, Anthony Edwards, starting this little scare. It starts in a diner, it moves to the block, it extends to the city, and then everybody in the country is going through madness. And it's such a good movie. Look at that. That was a great question. Miracle Mile.
I'll check that one out, but you could have said Doomed, right?
I didn't think that. Doomed, yeah.
We would have let you add that to the list. And the last thing, while watching the documentary, which again is released October the 11th on all streaming sites, everybody get out and watch it, please. When I was watching it, it was very much a sense of like you don't really know who made the original sort of deal. Could you maybe, in your educated sort of research, tell us who you think made that deal and why it kind of went south? Just to end on.
When you say the deal, you mean the in order to not release it?
In order to not release, but also to make it with the intention of not releasing it, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean it's unfortunately he passed away a number of years ago. But Bernd Eichinger, who was the co-executive producer with Roger Corman and the president of Constantine Films,
Constantine.
He was driving this project. It was his baby. He wanted the big 20th Century Fox, $50 million budget extravaganza.
Just Galba,
and he did everything. I mean, the beauty of what he did, though, you have to give him credit because it worked. Because of Corman's little movie, because of all these shenanigans, Constantine retained the rights. They did what they set out to do. And even on Joss Trank's movie, Constantine Films is the production company. They've maintained and retained the rights for the last 25 years.
That was sort of the main reason I wanted to ask that question is because when people want Fantastic Four, they want the Fantastic Four to be added to the Marvel sort of cinematic universe. It's always like, it's Fox who's kind of blocking the whole thing. It's Fox. And it really, after watching this documentary, it kind of opened my eyes to the fact that it's not really Fox.
Yeah.
And it was just something interesting. I just wanted to ask and see if you could clarify it.
Yeah. Constantine's still around. I'm Facebook friends with him, and I check their site every so often, and I send him a message here and there and say, "Hey, you guys want to talk yet?" And still no response.
Man. That's crazy.
Wow.
I know.
Like you said before, you'd think they would just to kind of put a good face
say
on.
something.
Yeah.
Just say something. Yeah, absolutely.
They could really ruin my world if they called me on Monday and said, "Hey, we'd love to tell you everything," and my movie's coming out. Oh shit! I can't release it now. I got more to the story.
Always place for a sequel, though.
Doomed 2.
If you want to give up another 3-4 years.
So, before we let you go, Marty, just tell everyone where can they look for Doomed? What streaming sites and all that kind of thing. Plug away.
Yeah. October 11th, next Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. It'll be the big one's iTunes. They've already got it up for pre-order. I just got the link yesterday. I mean, you can go to iTunes now, search for Doomed Corman, and it comes up. And they've got exclusive content we gave iTunes, like all these cool little extra features that aren't going to be on the eventual DVD and Blu-ray.
That's
that comes out the 11th, so it's it's Dish Network, it's DirecTV, it's all cable outlets, Time Warner, Charter, Xfinity, Comcast, Verizon, Vudu. Most of them. And then we come out on physical media, on DVD and Blu-ray. We come out December 20th with 2 special feature, with a bunch of extras and loaded with content. So those will be out the 20th. And then, we're probably looking at Netflix, I would imagine, the first quarter of 2017. But this coming Tuesday is the big one.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, when we put the episode out, I'll grab all the links I can possibly grab, and I'll put them all in there and on the website and the Facebook and the Twitter, and we'll try and make sure we do our part as well.
Terrific.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this has been an absolute pleasure, Marty. It's a fantastic documentary.
It is.
And I can't recommend it highly enough.
I didn't mean to put you on tenterhooks when I says we'll get into that. I'm sorry.
You did a little bit though. It was worth it. It paid off. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
I like to do that though. I like to lure people in. But Marty, we're going to let you go, and we're going to go and we'll do this review, and we'll try not to spoil too much of it, and people can watch it, and I hope they do, because as Chris says, I'll just echo it. It's a great documentary.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This was great. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Hey, are you a jock that likes comics?
Are you a nerd that likes comics?
Do you feel left out sometimes?
Well, then we've got the show for you.
I'm Imran.
And I'm Anthony.
He's the jock.
And he's the nerd.
And we host the Jock and Nerd podcast at jockandnerd.com. If you're looking for fun, entertaining, laugh-out-loud geek chat over all the latest Marvel, DC shows and news, visit jockandnerd.com.
Full spoiler podcast, lots of swearing.
You're such a jock.
You're such a nerd.
Oh, come on.
Shut up, nerd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jock and Nerd.
Jock and Nerd. Even better, though, Marty Langford.
That was a great interview.
It was. I was happy with that. And he gave us a 365 pick.
He did.
So we now have 6 movies. Mm-hmm. 7 shortly.
Yep.
Are we going to add another one each tonight? Or?
Oh, shit. Okay,
no.
If you want. Have you got one?
Not yet.
Have you got one?
Yet. We'll think about it. We'll okay. chew the fat.
Well, why don't we then? Because we're going to be doing our top 5 in a minute.
Yep.
Why don't we say, as part of the top 5...
Whatever your number 1 is? Or whatever your number 5 is?
You can pick any one of the top 5.
Okay. I'm okay with that, actually, because I've got some good picks.
Okay, all right.
But this is not the...
Is it Hey Arnold?
This is not the top... Damn. This is not the top 5 section. This is the section where we like to talk about the things we've been watching or playing or doing or just whatever.
Stuff and thanks.
Yeah, quickie reviews. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to let you start because you've probably got more than me because I've really not watched much recently.
So, yeah. Okay. One movie that I wanted to mention in particular is a movie called The Infiltrator. Stars Bryan Cranston.
Yep.
And lots of others. It's a great cast. And it's a fucking great movie. It's out right now in the cinemas. And it's... Bryan Cranston is an undercover agent.
Yeah.
Who is trying to...
Is he in too deep?
He is in too deep.
Mm-hmm. Talk about bad movie cliches.
We didn't talk about that.
You're in too deep. You're in too deep. You killed a man.
Did you ever watch A Touch of Cloth?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you're referencing. Okay, bygones. The Infiltrator.
He's gone too far. He's in too deep.
He doesn't know what side he's on.
I still love that program.
It's a great.
The
program.
first series was way better than
it's,
the second series.
Charlie Brooker.
Aye, great.
He's a
great.
cracking writer. I can't wait for Black Mirror.
It was the first episode when he walked into the crime scene and he's like, "So what is it?" And she goes, "It's horrible. You've never seen nothing like it." And he turns on, there's a picture of Piers Morgan. He goes, "Oh no!"
I can't remember which series it was, but there was a bunch. The one of the characters was a cardboard cutout police officer, and he goes up to her and smacks her head off it. Completely bloody bonkers.
Right,
anyway, the Infiltrator.
There's one for Hobie. The boys, you need to watch Touch of Cloth.
Well, they've been speaking about Black Mirror quite a lot lately.
Yeah, that's way better than
So,
Black Mirror.
same writer.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny as hell. It's got a cracking cast. It's John Hannah is the main character, but you've got other guys in there. It's a good cast. So yeah, be interesting to see what those guys think of that.
Infiltrator. Yeah,
great movie. I really enjoyed it. I had a choice of going to see that or Magnificent Seven, which I spoke about briefly, kind of, on the last episode.
Yeah.
Briefly, for about 2 seconds.
You said you'd need to see it.
Before, yeah.
We pretty much briefly spoke about everything on that episode.
Yeah, so I spoke about that for about 2 seconds before I got cut off.
Marcus is like, we don't want to talk about that today.
Fucking Sir Anthony Hopkins. That's quite a good impression.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, so highly recommend the Infiltrator. It's set during if you've watched Narcos on Netflix, which I highly recommend. It's set during that whole era with Pablo Escobar.
Okay.
And all that. So Bryan Cranston is undercover and he's trying to sort of work his way up. And it's great.
Does it get in too deep?
Spoilers. Great movie. Fantastic movie. And also Magnificent Seven.
Great movie.
Thoroughly recommended.
You're going to actually review that now?
I'm not going to.
Well, I watched a movie last night that made me shit my pants.
Yes, I know you did.
And to the point where I actually had to watch The Flash straight after because I couldn't go to bed.
Now you see, I before I came up here tonight, I played the short that you sent me for Paul. Friend of the show, Paul.
It's freaky, isn't it?
And the bit where at the very start of the short where she's switching the light on and off, and then the thing's standing right next to her, Paul went, ah! This was on my phone. This was on my shitty HTC. Paul went, ah! So there you go, Paul Trower. Fuck you.
It's good. It is.
It was good. It was good. So Lights Out then.
The movie's just the movie's called Lights Out. It's literally like it's a 1.5 hour version of the short. Even the woman from the short plays a character right at the start of the movie, which I thought was pretty cool. She dies quickly. Spoilers. But yeah, it's like remember I asked you if you saw Darkness Falls. I don't think you did though.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. It's got Anya in it. So.
It was all about like the tooth fairy in the small town. She's killing the kids, but she can only go in the dark. She can't go in the light, and that's kind of what this is like. It's just fucking it's horrible, man. Basically, like if there's a light on, you can't see it. If the light goes off, she's there.
Yep.
The only thing is, and I'm going to go into spoiler territory because the ending, I'm sitting there, I was freaking out quite a bit with this movie. I was like, oh my god, this is getting under my skin way more than I thought it would because I thought the premise is a bit pishy-cacky. But then, like, the ending is not great. The ending is actually pants, and it made me wonder about the rest of the film, and it kind of ruined it for me.
So did that mean you could get to sleep?
No, I watched The Flash, which was so... Spoilers. That helped me go to sleep.
That would do it.
Yeah.
Aye.
But
because I watched it as well last night.
Yeah.
And we'll get to what I text you after I finish watching it.
But yeah, Lights Out, good film. I do recommend you see it at least once. You know, probably watch it for free. But the ending isn't great. It's just not great. But there's a couple of like really badass jump scares, and it's like fuck. Oh, nah. Like, there's the girls, like, because the little kid starts, like, seeing the lights out thing. and the older sister's like, oh, you can come stay at my house, come stay at my flat and stuff. And she lives above a tattoo parlour, and the tattoo parlour's got like a neon light outside that goes off and on as it would in a horror movie. And like you hear the noise when she's like lying there in bed, and you hear the noise on the floor, and she looks over and you can see somebody like scratching the floor, and she thinks it's the boy. And then the neon light flashes on and there's nobody there, and it's like, nah. There's a few times I was like, brown alert. Good film though. As you said a wee while ago, you're on a bit of a horror kick. I feel like I'm on a bit of a horror kick as well. The only thing is that one just ended piss poor.
Well, you see, that doesn't make me want to watch it now.
The ending's not great. I really kind of made me think, well, what the fuck was the rest of the movie about?
You know, I was it last weekend or the weekend before, I rewatched The Conjuring 2.
Great.
And honestly, that is one of my favourite movies this year.
I'd put it up there, definitely.
I'm going to struggle when it comes to January or whenever we do our top
best of
2016. When we do our worst of 2016, Star Trek Beyond. But
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. But love Conjuring 2.
Yep.
So, but from what you're saying there about Lights Out, I don't know if I'm going to bother.
It's a decent film. It's got some good jump scares. It's just the ending. I just sat there and I was like, oh, come on. Like, what the
Should maybe just leave it to the 2-minute short.
Yeah, leave it to the 2-minute short. The 2-minute short is
That made Paul scream.
Paul's a fanny.
Yeah, bless him. So,
yeah,
there we go. Now, we'll stay with the movies just now, because we're going to talk about a movie.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about a movie that's been quite controversial over the last year, whatever.
We've had a lot to say about it.
We've had a lot to say about it. I swore that I would never watch it because of a certain actress, Melissa McCarthy. And we decided, because of the fucking hysterics of Batman versus Superman,
and Suicide
and all
Squad.
that, and Suicide Squad, and all that fucking nonsense, we decided that as impartial critics, which we are,
Well, we're not, but we try to be.
Stop self-defecating.
We try to be.
No self-defecating on this episode.
I'm not self-defecating. I'm just saying that we
kind
try
of
to
defecated a little bit there.
I'm pretty biased, to be fair.
Did a little bit of defecating.
Okay.
Stop defecating. So we decided as impartial. God, I struggle with that fucking word.
Yeah.
Impartial critics of a movie. We're not professional or anything like that, but we kind of are. Yeah. That we make a point of not judging a movie without seeing it.
By its cast.
Exactly.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yep. So we decided to give Ghostbusters 2016 a watch.
Plus, Courtney, who we interviewed on a few episodes back, kind of made me want to watch it, because I asked a question about how she's like an independent filmmaker who kind of tries to push the female roles in the movie world. So I asked the question about the Ghostbusters and all the heat the Ghostbusters was getting, because I did think that movie was going to be crap and terrible and stuff.
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? That's the thing. People, same with Batman vs Superman.
Yep.
People made up their minds. I'm as guilty.
Yeah.
I'm completely guilty of that, Kev. It wasn't because there was women in the fucking movie.
No,
not one bit. It was because one woman was in the movie. That was it. I decided because Melissa McCarthy was in that movie that I wasn't going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I accept that I was a fucking dick for saying that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I never said that. I always said the movie was going to be awesome, like 5 stars.
You did, absolutely.
To be fair, when I actually got around to watching this, I kept sitting there thinking, the hatred isn't going to be real. It's not going to be real. Like, there's going to be no reason why anybody would hate this movie as much as people are hating this movie. But I did think that I wasn't going to like it.
Yeah.
I thought,
same here. Same here.
The hatred isn't real, but I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of Kristen Wiig. I'm not a big fan of Melissa McCarthy. I'm not a great fan of Paul Feig as a director. it's just one of those. It seemed like a culmination of things, and then I sat down and watched it, and all those culmination of things turned out to be a perfect fucking recipe for this movie. It's not the best movie I've seen this year. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's actually it's an enjoyable.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
It's very enjoyable.
If you just go in there or put the movie on and don't think about fucking Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd or any of those guys or any of the original concept of the movies, if you just go in there and accept it for what it is, it's an enjoyable movie.
It is.
And I had fun watching it.
It is.
You know, I was laughing like crazy watching the movie.
There was a few moments that got me going.
You know, I don't get the fucking levels of hatred to watch the movie.
I'm totally on board with you there, and I told you that I didn't really want to do this because I was kind of backtracking on everything I've ever said about it.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Well, I completely accept that I was wrong.
Yeah, totally. 'Cause I did thoroughly enjoy that movie. It was very enjoyable.
You know, we've spoken about the heat that Leslie Jones?
Yeah. Oh man.
Got on the Twitters
horrible.
and what have you.
She quit Twitter.
I don't understand it.
She's
I don't
good.
understand it. Why was that woman? These these are fucking awful people.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
definitely.
They're awful people.
Definitely.
But why was this woman the fucking focus of the hatred that led her to quitting Twitter and all that fucking Twitter? But
Twitter.
The Twitters.
The Twitter.
But why? Why?
It was crazy. It was crazy. That's all I can say.
The whole thing was crazy, and again, we were as guilty as anyone else.
Although we didn't go on Twitter and hashtag like anything about her.
No, we did not. No, we did not.
To be fair, I didn't know who she was.
No.
I thought she was played by Crazy Eyes, but I was wrong about that.
I would have preferred Crazy Eyes.
She would have been great.
Because, you know, she's a damn talented woman. But that's not taking anything away from Leslie Jones,
she was
because
good.
I think she did a cracking job in the role. I said that to you that she was my favourite part of the movie. And you said
Not for
that
me.
your favourite part of the movie was...
Holtzman. I can't think of her name.
Kate
McKinnon? Kate McKinnon, that's
There
it.
we
Well
go.
done, well done.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Bit patronising.
It's like it's 1:15 in the morning, you pull that out of your ass.
I'm not done yet.
She was good though. I really enjoyed her. For me, she was the absolute best part of that movie. She was so funny, and she wasn't in it too much. You know, like sometimes when you have those comedy characters, they can get like Alan in The Hangover and become extremely annoying.
Yeah.
And you've just had enough of them
Yeah.
after 10 minutes. Not her, because she just kept popping in and out of the
Yeah.
movie. And yeah, she was the comic relief.
But you know, the scene where she's sort of arsing about dancing with the blowtorches
Great.
and she sets fire to the lab, I was fucking pissing myself laughing.
And on that note, in that scene, we have a great bit of music in the background. This movie has a cracking soundtrack.
It does.
I didn't like the Fallout Boy, Don't Believe in Ghosts. That was pants, like I always said it was going to be. You know, that was probably the one thing I was right about.
But
The rest of the soundtrack was good.
the scene with Kate McKinnon with the little mini
Yep.
proton packs, you know, sort of walking down the street, shooting the ghosts and all that with the Ghostbusters
badass.
soundtrack. That was fucking awesome.
It was. It was. It's one of those movies where I'm actually I'm happy to have been wrong about it. I am happy to have been wrong about that movie.
I agree with you completely.
Again, not the best movie I've seen this year. Not the best movie I've ever seen. A good movie though.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. It was a lot of fun. As I said before, if you go into it, just forget about the 1984 movie and the what was Ghostbusters 2, like 1988 or whatever the fuck. Just don't. Just relax and just let it be a Ghostbusters movie. Just relax and fucking let it be a movie.
And you know what? If you are nostalgic for the old movie, they're all in it.
They are.
They all play cheeky little cameos.
Well, not all of them, because one of them's dead. But, you know.
And Slimer's got a girlfriend.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a point of contention for me.
I did struggle with that bit. But we're not saying it's a perfect movie.
Nobody ever said that.
But what we're saying is that we were wrong to dismiss this movie, and I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, and I feel when you are wrong, you need to address that.
Exactly.
You know, Anthony was big enough to do it with Batman vs Superman.
He was, absolutely.
So we have to be big enough to do it for Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
So we just thought we'd bring it up.
So what would you give out of 10?
I would give it a Michael Bay. It was an enjoyable movie. So out of 10, I'd probably give it like 6.12.
6.12?
Yeah.
Good maths.
I said before I wasn't good at maths, alright? I'd roughly give it a 7.
So it's a 7.2 then?
Yeah, I'd give it... Yeah, 7.2, well done. You did that really quickly.
I'm like Rain Man tonight.
You are, you're like really good at the mental maths.
No, that's not like me at all.
So, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it.
Good man. And I don't need a sequel though.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it.
Let's not rule out.
I really wouldn't worry about it because it's not going to happen. So that's the positivity out of the window because I'm going to get negative on you, Kev.
You're going to get negative on my ass.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's up, like?
I've
what you been watching,
I've
buddy?
been watching some TV shows.
Jesus, you've got a muckle long list.
Yeah. Not all of them are negative.
Can we just quickly jog through them?
Right, okay. I'm not going to mention that. I am going to mention that. American Horror Story.
What about it?
Season 6.
Roanoke.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not watching it.
I'm enjoying it.
Is it good? Fair play.
I'm really enjoying
I
it.
listened to Snake Oil Horror.
Yep.
They were talking about it. They were going in depth on some of the American Horror Stories. That was pretty cool. But it didn't make me want to watch it.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a slow burn.
Is Spock in it?
No. Well, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm really enjoying it. Speaking of really enjoying it, National Treasure. I mentioned it on the last episode with the Dark Knight guys.
Nicolas Cage movies.
Absolutely fucking not.
Okay.
It's a show on Channel 4 right now.
Oh, the Robbie Coltrane thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Robbie Coltrane and Julie Walters. It's not an easy watch. It's
go?
quite dark.
Does he go, Harry! Harry! That was my Hagrid impression.
That was awful.
It wasn't that bad.
Don't ever do that again.
What are you doing, Harry? Get off my
Combine harvester.
horse.
Shut up.
Nah.
Shut up.
Okay.
Don't. Just don't.
I gotta tell Professor Dumbledore.
So that's National Treasure. Fucking hell.
What?
Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf 11
It's back.
is on Dave Weekly right now.
Any good? I've not watched any of it yet.
I did enjoy the first episode. I said that to Mark on the last episode.
You did,
on
you
last
did.
episode of 365. Wasn't crazy about the first episode, but this week's one, it was called Give or Take, or Give and Take, and it was the best episode of Red Dwarf I've seen in years.
Yeah. Was the cat there was like, ow!
It just anyway.
I'm looking nice.
Yeah.
Remember the episode when he went up to the food thing and he goes, fish!
Yeah.
Fish!
So what's the best episode of Red Dwarf you've ever seen?
Oh,
Was it the JFK one?
Shakers, now you're asking. Probably that always sticks out in my mind because I like when Rimmer says, not Rimmer, Lister says, I've got an idea. It's a bit nuts, but the conspiracy theorists will love it.
Yeah.
And he gets JFK to shoot himself, doesn't
Yes,
he?
he does. Yes, he
Great.
does. My favourite one was, there was a body swap one.
Right.
Where Rimmer was able to go into the mind of Lister. And so he was eating like a bastard and smoking and all that kind of thing. And then he sort of went into the mind of the cat later on. And
Right.
I think that's probably my favourite one.
I quite liked the one where they were in the backwards Earth. And
Yeah.
they instead of having a barroom brawl, had a barroom tidy.
Yes. Yeah. But then they had a bit where they were, I think it was Lister was undrinking a pint.
Aye.
That was gross.
It was a bit gross.
Yeah. And didn't Cat have he had a reverse shit at the
Something
end
like
of the
that.
episode?
Something like that.
Yeah. But I think there'll probably be 3 episodes left
Right.
after this week's one. And
You're going to carry it on, do you think?
Oh, I would imagine so.
I hope so.
The casts are looking a bit older now, but
wear
well,
and tear.
you would, wouldn't you?
Mhm.
So because they're older,
Yeah.
that's how that works.
It is pretty much how aging
You know,
works.
timey-wimey.
Mm.
So speaking of which,
Okay.
a new show, well, a show that's been off the air for 9 years.
The Bill.
No, started again tonight in the UK.
Oh, right, aye.
Hopefully in America. I don't know. I think it's quite big in.
Do the Americans watch it?
It's quite big in Canada.
Oh, so Matt will watch it
Yes.
because he's got nothing else to watch.
And Nickel maybe
Nickel,
in his cabin.
possibly.
Yeah.
Well, is it still there?
I don't know. It's been
I
washed
thought-
away.
I thought the government were like ripping it down.
Oh, it's a thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Shit. Anyway, so still game. Still fucking game started again tonight.
So I see. I read that on your phone.
Still fucking game. Yeah. It was great.
Was it good?
It was great.
Was it like old times?
It was so good seeing those guys back on screen.
I think we need to aim for getting those guys on the podcast.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, we've had Grado on, and he's got connections. So, but he'll not ask you on the Twitter as well. He'll answer you on the Twitter as well.
No, he
So,
won't. Nah.
Yeah, ignorant.
If anything.
Yeah.
In our next of the woods, speaks to Kev Wright, but doesn't go out for a pint with us.
He speaks to Kev Wright.
He called Kev Wright a wank.
Oh.
But,
yeah, we all called Kev Wright a wank.
Kev went up to the Jubilee and he actually bumped into Grado and he had like a 5-minute conversation and he said that, well, that wrong has been righted.
Oh.
You know, so we go out of our way to get Grado to leave him a message and apparently we did something wrong. So that's a download. I'm not bothered about losing.
There you go.
Please don't leave us, Kev.
He'll not leave us.
You're our only hope.
Ooh. I like that. Anyway, right. Okay, so let's get negative.
Let's get negative.
Right, let's talk about The Flash.
Oh man, what's a load of shite.
Yep.
I have nothing to say apart from, I'm just going to say this one thing, right? Why have a season finale like they had at the end of season 2 where they do the Flashpoint paradox, which could be fairly interesting, to be honest, and then absolutely shit the bed and come back for your first episode and just go back on it? Just, what a load of crap.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, man? Like, I know it's still going to have, like, little ripples and all that, because obviously the Reverse Flash has done something on the way back that Barry doesn't know about, and then it's like, okay. But
also, what's her name isn't speaking to her dad.
Oh, it's crazy,
Who could
man.
possibly care?
It's crazy. I was sat there like, so everybody lost their damn minds because of what he did at the end of the last series. People were angry. Some people loved it, but most people were angry. So they've literally come back and said, okay, we'll just forget we did that. We'll just reverse that back, and everything's okay. No, it's not. What on earth?
No, I said to you, I don't know if you quite agree with this. I don't care, but I spent the whole of the last season pretty much waiting for the Flash to get good.
Yeah, you
and
said that.
In my head, I don't think it did.
It wasn't the best.
So you disagreed, I think, when I said it gets one episode. In season 3, it gets one episode for me.
If you're gonna jump out, I would jump out now.
I'm done.
I'm gonna give it another couple episodes.
You come on like episode 51 and do a review of episode 2 and 3 of season 3. Go for it. Honestly, I'm done with the Flash.
If you are gonna jump out, like I say, this is the perfect time to do it, because I feel like they just took everything. It's almost like they were trying to say sorry. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get a couple of episodes in and we might get a little nugget of something. But I just sat there and I went, oh great. So everything you did in that last 2 minutes of the season finale last year, that wasn't even necessary. You didn't even need to do it. You could have just ended the episode where he was sat on the porch. He didn't have to go back and save his mum. It was pointless. It was stupid. And then you did it anyway, and then you came back in the first episode and said, oh, we're just going to reverse all that.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy.
Nah.
No.
No.
I'm gonna keep watching and see where it goes.
Well, that's fair enough. I'm not. I am not. Now.
And that is your prerogative.
Thank you very much. Next.
What?
Westworld.
Yeah, I've not watched it yet.
Rubbish.
People are loving it.
Well, that's up to them.
It is up to them. People can love it if they want. I will get around to watching it. I'm just
give it a try. Give it a watch for yourself. I did not enjoy it.
Is Ed Harris playing Ed Harris?
Yeah, in a cowboy hat.
In a cowboy hat?
Yeah.
I'm up for
that. No,
not for you.
Not for me at
Why?
all.
Why though?
It's just stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's a good review.
It's just stupid.
It's just stupid. Put that on the poster.
Well, what I actually put on our Facebook page was it's Joss Whedon's Dollhouse.
Yes.
With a bigger budget.
Yes.
Much bigger budget.
Yeah. HBO budget.
On it, an HBO budget.
Yeah.
But with none of the Joss Whedon charm about it.
None of the Whedonisms.
None of the Whedonness.
Nah.
Nah.
That sounds pants.
Not for me. I made it 15 minutes into the first episode and I lost interest. I just...
It was just background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Family Guy episode where Peter Griffin is driving the car and the newspaper comes slowly up.
Right.
And he ends up crashing the car. Remember?
Okay.
He's driving the car, they're going on vacation or holiday as Brits say it. As normal people say it. And he's driving the car and he's got a newspaper and it goes slowly up over the windscreen like that, and then he ends up crashing the car.
Okay.
I was just kind of like ended up fucking about in my foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not for me. I'm gonna give
it a watch.
Give it a watch. Give it a try for yourself. No, I'm not watching that shit. And speaking of which, have you got one before I go into this one? Go on.
I watched season 1 of The Strain. Did you ever watch The Strain?
No, I did not.
Don't bother.
Oh.
I watched season 1 and it's all right once it gets into it. But don't bother. Is
it rubbish?
It's very cheesy. It's very campy. It's very it's a horror. Like there's like a virus. It starts really good.
Right.
It started amazing, in fact, and I was hooked.
So is it like the first half hour of Blind Spot?
Yes, aye, very much so.
And then just went downhill from there, like Blind Spot.
It doesn't really go downhill. It just maintains a level of mediocrity.
Oh, wow, nice.
It just sort of sits there and just happily trundles along and doesn't really get any better, doesn't get any worse.
Meh.
The acting's all right. Sean Astin's in it, but he's dead now. He died like 2 episodes from the end. But for the most part, it's just kind of like, what am I watching this for? But I got to the end of the first series because I had to, because I'd invested in it, and it was all right. It was all right. There's another 2 series because it's like 3 in, and I probably won't watch anymore.
Meh.
Yeah.
So speaking of that,
right.
This is my last one.
Good.
And they'll be positive after that.
Always.
Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Now, Brigger wasn't happy with this.
Why? Does he love it? Is he a big fan?
Apparently.
Is he a big fan?
Well, he's an American. They'll love anything, won't they? Donald Trump.
Wow.
I know.
Apparently it's not down the hall in this country.
Yeah. Well, it's outside the shed. So, as I watched 3 episodes of Luke Cage.
I got 1. You did better than me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't want to... I like my Netflix Marvel shows. So, I was really, really desperate for it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going back to it.
No.
I always said when I was watching Jessica Jones, which I loved, that the Luke Cage character, I didn't think
he was boring.
Could carry a show on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He's an invincible character.
Yeah.
Which inherently is a fucking boring character. It's Superman.
That's why everybody doesn't like Superman.
Exactly. I said to you that they did in episode 3 the sort of Netflix, obligatory kind of corridor scene.
Yeah.
Now, when they did this with Punisher, when they did this with Daredevil, the character, the hero was struggling.
Yeah.
He was fucking battling his way through. He was fucking desperate to get through, and it was a battle, and you were right there with the character because he could be hurt. And Daredevil, in particular, in the first season, when he's going for the little boy, when he's trying to rescue the little boy, he fucking gets, exactly, Kev, he gets leathered. And he's fucked. By the end of the battle, he's fucked. He can barely stand. But no, not Luke Cage. Luke Cage is invincible. You've got a guy shooting at him and he's going... That's my bullet bouncy offy sound.
Sounded just like it.
Exactly.
You should be on Blue Bloods
I
doing
should.
sound effects.
Anyway.
I wasn't as good as you.
There's no jeopardy. There's no jeopardy for the character. The character can't be hurt.
Aye.
I'm not saying that the guy who plays Luke Cage is bad.
Yeah.
They've got a good cast in there. The guy who plays Cottonmouth is good. The guy, I can't remember his name, and he's in quite a lot of stuff. The guy who plays the sort of the old fella who owns the barber shop.
Right.
He's in a fuck ton of stuff.
I've only seen the first episode.
He's in that. I think he's in that. Yeah.
Oh well, that shows how much I saw.
The old boy who runs the barber shop that Luke Cage works for. He's in loads of stuff. He's fucking good. He's a good actor. But it's just boring.
Yeah.
It's a fucking snooze.
That's what I found in the first episode. I was literally just... The only reason I stayed in as long as I did was because Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy plays Juice in Sons of Anarchy. That was the only reason I was watching it, because I was like, oh shit, it's like this guy from Sons of Anarchy. And he wasn't in it very much.
Is that the female detective's partner?
I couldn't tell you who he was playing.
I think I know who you mean.
But I like him, so...
He's in quite a lot of stuff as well?
Yeah,
I think I know you mean.
I think I know
you mean. Okay.
So
yeah.
I stuck in for him, but literally it just kept cutting back to her being lying on the floor and him being... I was like, nah, this is... It was on in the background, and I didn't even bother with the second episode.
You know what? I wouldn't bother. I mean... if people are enjoying it, fair enough, but it's not for me. I'm not going to watch anymore.
So you going to watch The Defenders?
I'll watch The Defenders.
You're going to watch Iron Fist?
Iron Fist. Sure, why not?
You've got to watch Iron Fist.
I'll give it a go. As I said, I fucking love my Netflix Marvel shows. And Charlie Cox is going to be in it, so I'll bloody well give it a watch. What's her name that plays Jessica Jones is going to be in it, so I'll give it a watch. And fuck, the guy who plays Luke Cage is going to be in it, so I'll give it a watch. He's a talented guy, but should he have his own show? Or should the character have his own show? No.
That's okay then. I might go back to it, but probably not. So,
I'm not going back to it.
Yeah.
I think I gave it 3 episodes, and the third episode I was struggling to get to the 45-minute mark.
See, that upsets me because I struggled with Jessica Jones and Daredevil season 1.
It was so bad that I went back to Daredevil season 1.
I actually struggled with the last 4 episodes of Daredevil season 2 as well. I found it just...
Yeah, I really can't remember a great deal other than the Elektra going into the bloody stupid mystical coffin thing.
It's like, once the Punisher goes to jail, that show dies on its ass. That series.
That's the thing with watching things on a Netflix, on a binge.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this with Stranger Things as well. Is it's so fucking good that you're like, you watch like 5 episodes in a night.
Yeah.
And then somebody asks you, did you enjoy that? Oh my Christ, how about that fucking scene? I was stood in the pub with Paul, who fucking loves Stranger Things. And he said, oh fucking hell, that bit where that happened, I was like, So I may as well have not watched it because I had no recollection of it whatsoever.
When you're binging, it's hard to power through the crap episodes.
Well, I don't think there was any crap episodes of Stranger Things.
No, I'm not saying Stranger Things, but like when
maybe
you're watching
Daredevil, there was a few, maybe like a filler.
Yeah. Just when there is a bad episode or an episode that isn't quite up to the level, and you have to just power through it, it's hard. It's hard going. And that's why.
But they do that with, like, say, Doctor Who. where, they've only got like a certain budget
Mhm.
for the big, big finale, special effects kind of thing. So they tend to do like a sort of non-Doctor episode.
Mm-hmm.
And those tend to be lower budget ones. But sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
One of the ones that they really worked with was an episode called Blink.
And
it was the introduction of the Weeping Angels,
Ooh.
who are creepy.
Ooh.
It was a 10-minute episode,
Mhm.
and it was the Doctor and Martha get transported back in time without the TARDIS, and so it's like that was a good episode, but sometimes it doesn't work, So
yeah,
that's my negativity done with.
So now we're going to get all positive up in this
Yeah.
bitch. So that was our little review section where we talked about some movies and TV shows, and we talked about Doomed.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an awesome interview.
Mm-hmm.
Still happy with that interview.
Yep.
We are going to move on to our last section of the night.
Yep.
Which is our top 5.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is top 5 movies that we watched as kids that we still love and watch today.
Yeah, and one of those each is going to be added to 365 picks.
Which has 5 movies so far, but we shall recap that later.
6.
7.
7.
Yeah.
So what's the 7th? Would you like to tell everyone what's the 7th?
Anthony's.
You've not told anyone yet, though, have you?
No, we'll get to that.
We'll get to it already.
No, I'm big in it.
Oh, jeez.
You've got to build to a crescendo.
All right, okay.
Okay, but before we go on to the top 5, here is another cheeky little promo.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Blake from the History of Bad Ideas. And we'll get back to your regularly scheduled program here in just a second, geek listeners. But we do a weekly podcast called The History of Bad Ideas.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss things like television or movies or music or games or any other thing that falls into our geek-related podcast knowledge.
You can find us on Geek Life Radio, Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, or Radio-Blitz, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, or you can listen to us whenever the hell you want on iTunes and Stitcher. Check us out. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Top 5 time. Top 5 movies that we saw as kids and still watch today.
Or you would still watch today.
Like you would still watch today.
Not that you actively watch.
And we pretty much went from the age range of 0 to 15.
Yeah.
Because you're still a kid when you're 15. I mean, I'm still a kid now.
Well, yeah.
You know, and I'm like 31 or 2.
I'm 36, so fuck yourself.
And the rest. And we shall be recapping the 365 picks and adding a couple more to the list. So would you like to start with your number 5?
Yeah, so my number 5, a movie that I watched when I was a kid, and yeah, if it came up in Sky Movies or what have you, and I was in the mood, I would still watch it. So my number 5, and you are going to take the piss out of this one, and my dad, when he listens to this episode, is going to take the piss out of this one.
Good.
So my number 5, my number 5 is Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, you knob. Yeah, I've never actually seen it. I can't take the piss out of you because I've never actually seen it.
There you go. So
I would love to, but I can't.
You know, it's an old movie.
So where would you put Mary Poppins, or is Mary Poppins on your list as well?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
What's Mary Poppins got to do with
Should
it?
that not be like a tie? Bed Knobs and Broomsticks and Mary Poppins.
No.
Is it not the same kind of film? Like trippy acid films.
It's trippy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like going to cartoon land.
Like Roger Rabbit.
Stuff. Kind of like Roger Rabbit, yeah.
I'm
melting. But it's, you know what? Fuck off. It's a movie that I watched when I was a kid.
Can you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
That's Mary Poppins, not Bed Knobs and
Is it?
Broomsticks.
Oh, well, can you spell it?
You dumbass prick. No.
Can you spell it?
No.
Breger can.
Breger can. Can he?
Do your best, Dick Van Dyke. That's Mary Poppins as well, isn't it?
That's Mary Poppins as well.
I don't know what Bed Knobs and
Apples and pears! Apples and pears! That's about as good as Dick Van Dyke gets.
Oh, Dick Van Dyke. Legend. He's dead now, isn't he? Or is he alive?
I think he's alive.
Yeah, he should be dead.
Wow, shit. So, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, fuck you. It was a movie I watched when I was a kid, and yeah, I would still watch it.
Is that one of those things where, like, you're watching it, like, you're sitting at home and you're watching it, like, oh shit, I'm watching Bedknobs and Broomsticks again?
No.
How did this happen?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I wouldn't watch it in front of anyone. I've got a box of Kleenex next to me. What?
Oh, wow.
Angela Lansbury was a handsome woman.
She is a handsome woman. She is.
So what's your...
she does have a big set of balls as well.
She does, and she was Jessica Fletcher as well.
Did you see her a couple of weeks back when she was singing the Beauty and the Beast song live?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was all over YouTube. Bless her. She's a little old lady.
She is.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5.
My number 5 is a movie that I didn't actually... I watched as a kid, and I didn't actually like it. But as I started getting older, I actually started to like it, and I do love it now.
Mm-hmm.
And when it is on, I do love it, and I introduced Ruby to it a little while back. And my number 5 is Never Ending Story.
Okay.
But when I watched it as a kid, I hated it because the flying dog dragon scared the living shit out of me. And when the horse gets like swallowed in the mud, I didn't like that either. But it's a cracking movie.
I've seen it.
It's good.
I don't remember a great deal about it.
It's only maybe the last, probably when I got like out of my late teens into my early 20s, and I actually started to enjoy the movie, and I thought it was a good movie. It's a standout movie.
I've not watched it in a long time.
But I do watch it whenever it's on.
Fair enough.
And you got little Sebastian and a tree.
What, Little Mermaid, Sebastian?
I just thought of a movie. What was the name of it? What was the name of it? Bastard. Right. So your number 4, buddy.
My number 4 is a Steven Spielberg movie, but not the one you're thinking of. It is Hook.
Yeah, I like Hook. Hook's good.
I would watch Hook over and over again.
Yeah,
in fact, I have.
When it's on, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
I like Rufio.
He was a bit of an asshole. I never really liked him.
He was alright, Rufio.
I actually quite liked the bit where Dustin Hoffman stabbed him.
When you've got a character named after a rape drug, there's nothing wrong with that character. What?
That's a good point, actually. I never thought of that before.
I loved Rufio. He was awesome.
Yeah. Robin Williams, though. Bless him.
Yeah, bless him. He's dead now as well.
I know he is. I'm aware. So, Hook.
Dustin Hoffman, though. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And Bob Hoskins as well. That's me.
Do your best, Bob Hoskins.
Apples and pears. Apples and pears.
No. So, my number 4 is another movie that I introduced Ruby to a little while ago. And when we were talking about doing reviews on the podcast, she is dying to watch this again so she can review it on the podcast, so it might be coming shortly. My number 4 is Drop Dead Fred.
I've never seen that.
With Rick Mail as the imaginary friend.
I have never seen that.
Amazing. I forgot how much I actually loved that movie until I watched it with her. And it was like, she was giggling away like a bastard. And so was I, to be honest. Like, just... When he kind of jumps through the window and the mother's there and he like goes underneath her like skirt, which I thought for a second I was like, okay, please don't like do it up the skirt shot, please, because I'm sitting there with my like 8-year-old daughter and I don't want to be.
Is it live action or is it cartoon?
Yeah, it's live action.
Okay.
But he kind of like he slides under under the mum's skirt. She's got a long dress on, and the girl's sitting at the table with her breakfast. And Rick Mail's like looking up her skirt and he goes, cobwebs. Yeah, I wasn't explaining that to the Ben. But I love Drop Dead Fred. Rick Mail's awesome in it. Jesus. Everybody's awesome in that film. It's a great film. Yeah, Drop Dead Fred.
Okay.
And I think Ruby will be coming on to do a review of that movie shortly because she loves it. So there you go.
Fair enough. Yeah. Again, I've never seen it.
Malice looking good.
Mm-hmm. So my number 3 is a movie that everybody saw, and everybody's seen this movie. We mentioned it earlier on in the podcast.
That's okay.
And can you remember?
No.
It's The Lion King.
That's my Rihanna impression.
Damn.
Come on, rude boy. Rubber bang, 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 bang. Get it on. Stop. The Lion King.
Stop.
I'll give you The Lion King. I love The Lion King. I've not watched it in a long, long time, but I do love it. It's a good film.
Neither have I. I bought the Blu-ray when the Blu-ray came out. What was that, maybe 2-3 years ago?
Yep.
It's not something I watch all the time. Same as the rest of the movies on these lists. It's not
got an awesome
something that you would watch as often as Star Wars or Jaws. It's or Glengarry Glen Ross.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
Or Gangs of New York.
Interestingly enough, I was going to suggest that we rewatch Glengarry and do a little thing about it, because I found out something extremely interesting today. Not today, yesterday. I was doing a little bit of IMDbing, and the director of Glengarry Glen Ross, I was sitting there, I was thinking, I wonder what else he's made. Well, James Foley, the man's called. I was like, I wonder what else James Foley has made. Yeah. Do you know what movie he is currently making?
No.
And he's making another one shortly.
No.
The man who made Glengarry Glen Ross, the movie that is Glengarry Glen Ross.
Do I get from the look on your face that I don't want you to finish the sentence?
You're not going to want me to finish the sentence. The man who...
It's Tarbuck 2, isn't it?
Eh?
It's Tarbuck 2, isn't it?
No, the man who had Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Kevin Spacey, Alan Arkin, all given Ed Harris, all given fantastic performances, is currently directing 50 Shades 2.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yes, James Foley, the man that brought us Alec Baldwin, Big Brass Balls.
Put that coffee down.
James Foley is making 50 Shades 2.
You know, as Hobby keep reminding us, it's the most watched trailer ever?
Well, I'll give it that, because the man knows how to edit, but come on.
Most of that is Brigger, though, isn't it?
And he's also directing 50 Shades 3.
Okay.
Just a little bit of IMDb trivia for you there.
Brilliant.
Yep. So where were we? Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King.
Yeah, not directed by James Foley.
No. How did that come up?
I don't know.
I think I said Glengarry.
Tangented.
I can't remember why I said Glengarry. Anyway, The Lion King.
Awesome.
Good movie. Cracker movie.
It is.
Classic
I
movie.
love The Lion King.
Yeah.
I love Mufasa. So,
go.
My number 3. Give me a second.
It is 10 to 2 in the morning, by the way. Just bear with us.
My number 3 is I'm gonna have to. Labyrinth.
Is that the one with David Bowie?
Yes.
Right. I've never seen it.
You've not seen any on my list. You've seen one of them. I know you've seen one of these. Labyrinth is going into my number 3. I love Labyrinth.
I've never seen it.
It's got an kicker. Much the same as The Lion King, it's got an amazing soundtrack. It's all David Bowie with his really tight leather pants where you can see both of his nuts. And bless the man. The man's gone now. 2016. May you just fuck off and die. But I love Labyrinth. It's a great movie. Jennifer Connelly is fantastic in it as a young girl. The puppets, the Jim Henson factor, it's all great. I love Labyrinth, and I've made no bones about that on this podcast ever. Anybody who's listened to this podcast knows that's on there.
Fair enough.
So you're number 3?
2. Yeah.
Okay.
My number 2 is another sort of cartoony one.
Yes.
Or is it? Well, it is.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yep.
I knew you were going to say that. It's not on my list. Go on, do your best, Bob Hoskins. Don't say apples and pears.
Get out of my pub! That was fucking awful.
That was Peggy Mitchell. What are you doing Peggy Mitchell
I have
for?
no idea. That was the only Cockney I could think of.
Get out of my
But it sounded
hand.
like she was from Yorkshire.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I apologise.
So, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, stop asking me to do impressions because it's going to sound more and more Yorkshire until we get to Newcastle and then Glasgow. So, yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I'll give you that one.
Classic movie. Bob Hoskins again. I mean, it's just a fucking great movie.
It is a good movie. I love Roger Rabbit. I do.
And when you first watched that when you were a kid, you know, it's the first. I think it was probably the first time you saw it, but other than Bed Ups and Broomsticks, the first time really that you saw a good movie with live action versus
Acid trippiness.
animation.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It probably would have been. Apart from that Brad Pitt movie, Cool World. Ugh.
Or Bed Ups and Broomsticks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you ever see Cool World?
No.
Don't ever watch Cool World. So my number 2.
Your number 2
is on ITV2 every other week. It's not Jurassic Park 2. I absolutely love this movie. Lindsay loves this movie. And it's a movie that we make a point of watching every time it's on. Twister.
Oh, nice.
I went to the cinema to see Twister. I actually went to the cinema to see Independence Day because it came out the day before. No, they came out at the same time, but Independence Day was fully booked and we couldn't get into the cinema, so we had to go and see Twister. And I was all like, I do want to go and see Twister. And I fucking loved it, and I've loved it ever since.
I love Twister.
I could watch Twister any time of the day.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair enough.
such-
That's fair enough.
such a good
I love
movie.
Twister. I tell you what, it's a worse story than that. I wanted to go and see Star Trek First Contact.
Yep.
In Edinburgh, at the fort, but the times were shitty, so I couldn't go and see it, and ended up going to see Evita.
Wow.
I know.
How did you not kill yourself there and then?
Well, yeah.
Can you do a Jimmy Nail impression?
Stop. No.
He's still a Vita.
I know.
You're trying to think of the words to Crocodile Shoes now, aren't you?
I'm just trying to think of what a Geordie sounds like. It's just going to sound like Yorkshire.
Why I man pet?
No, I'm not going to do it.
That's
So,
right,
yeah.
That's
So, what was your number 2 again?
my number 2 was Twister.
Oh, that's Bygones. Yeah, okay. Right.
So, is it time for my number 1?
Go on then.
You're going to see this coming a mile off. Bugsy Malone.
Huh.
Every Christmas, any time of the year, Lindsay bought me the DVD a few years back. I fucking love.
Yeah.
Not only is it one of my favourite movies that I watched as a kid and still watch now, it's one of my favourites of all time.
Really?
It's definitely one of my... It's probably my favourite musical of all time.
Is that the one that's a very, 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 very young Jodie Foster?
Oh, yeah, it's very, very, very young. Still tidy, though.
Oh, Kev, don't do that.
No, because it's okay, because when I watched it, she was probably older than me. Well, no, she would have been, because she's older than me now, so makes sense.
Makes sense in a U-tree sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Bugsy Malone. I love all the songs in Bugsy Malone. I love We Could Have Been Anything That We Wanted to Be.
Yeah, it's going to be ahead all fucking night now.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Love it.
I have seen it.
My
I've
name
not
is
seen it in a
to
long
you
fucking
now.
time, though.
Awesome. Put him in the ring, Joe. Let me have him, Joe. We'll give him a fight to see if he's right. Nah.
You're singing now.
Honestly, I love Bugsy Malone.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you said that this was the category, as soon as we landed on this category, that was my number 1. And spoilers, that's going in my picks.
Fair enough.
100%. I love Bugsy Malone. Tallulah. Wow. Scott Baio. Chachi from Joni and Chachi in the Happy Days.
Stop saying names.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, your number 1.
My number 1
Budzinski.
is...
How did you start, but you're finishing?
You kind of took over.
Okay.
I was okay. I was fine to let you have it. That's fine.
Is it when we tangented?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been all over the place because it's 2 o'clock in the morning right now.
Yeah,
so
it's getting
you know,
there. It's getting
yeah. So my number 1, it's a movie that I mentioned a few times on the podcast. The last time was the episode with Andrew, and on the soundtrack top 5. It's a movie that's 30 years old this year. and the movie is Transformers the movie.
Yeah, go on then. I knew you'd say that.
No, you didn't, did you?
No.
No.
I thought you were going to say Back to the Future or something.
See, I considered that, but I think I don't know what age I was when I actually first watched that.
Okay.
I didn't see it in the cinema or anything.
No.
So,
Probably.
But I think I saw Transformers the movie in the cinema. I think. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah, Transformers the movie.
I'll
It's
give you that
fucking... It's the only proper Transformers movie.
I've not watched that in a long, long time. We're talking like when I was a Bambino since I watched that. So I'm not going to comment on that one. It is what it is. It's
I bought it when it came out on Blu-ray, and it still is fucking good.
Aye.
It's got an awesome soundtrack and an awesome cast. Fucking Orson Welles is in it.
Bill Shatner.
No.
Oh.
Well, as we know, he can do anything.
Anything.
Jerry Ryan's panties.
Anything.
Exactly. But he can't be in that.
No, I suppose not. He can't be in everything.
Well, exactly. But it's a cracking movie, and that was my number one.
Twiggy will be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you are adding
let's
Bugsy
just,
Malone to your 365
Let's
picks.
just recap and remind. We have the 365 picks section, which is where we are making a list of 365 movies that you should see before you pop your clogs. Not that you must see. We're not going to be that demanding of you. And this list is made up of guests who come on the show, you and I, and basically anybody who we want to take the piss out of. So, the movies we have so far, we have The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, which was recommended by Ross of the Damp Night Productions. Anything else? Would you like me to just read them all?
Just read them off.
I'll read them all. I thought we were going to do like one each. Like, as if
Well,
we were...
I've not got them on my phone because when
Okay.
we did it, I was on the PC.
So The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Ross Graham of the Damp Night gave us that one. Blade Runner was suggested by Mark Vivers of the Damp Night Productions. And Die Hard was Dimples of the Damp Night Productions. So, they've got 3 already. Then you came in with Jaws because you didn't want me to rule it out on the Twitter polls.
Yeah, I would have battered you if you'd done that.
And watch out for the Twitter polls because I will be putting, hopefully before we do the next episode, I'll be putting 2 movies up there.
I think that needs to happen.
They will both be absolute classics, and whichever one doesn't win the vote can never be added to the list.
Wow.
So, that's how important this poll is. So I would say 3 people vote on this, and we're golden. So you added Jaws, so I couldn't get rid of Jaws, so that's on the list forever now. I went with Airplane, my favourite comedies of all time. I had to go on there because, Airplane reasons. During the Marty Langford, the Marty Langford interview that we had earlier, the man who made Doomed, go watch that documentary on Tuesday, stream it, or any other time you want to watch it. Just make sure you watch it because, it's good. It's excellent, and it's 365 approved. He gave us a movie called Miracle Mile with the bald doctor of ER, Anthony Edwards. I couldn't think of his name there, so I was stalling for time.
I was thinking, I thought you were on about Doctor Who there, the bald doctor.
No.
Bygones.
No. Which I am actually going to check out because that sounded really interesting. I haven't seen that movie, so I am.
He did actually.
I am going to check that one out.
And he's actually a good actor, Anthony Edwards. He is
he's
a
an
cracking
excellent
actor.
Pet Sematary 2, come on. Awesome movie. Awesome.
Okay.
And so
you are going to add...
I am adding Bugsy Malone to this list because I love Bugsy Malone. Again, it's definitely one of my favourite movies of all time.
Right, I need to look at my top 5 again because what am I going to add to it?
Well, while you do that, we were engaged in a little bit of tete-a-tete with a good friend of ours from a podcast that you've heard us play the promo earlier, the Jock and Nerd podcast. And it would be remiss of me not to add one of Anthony's favourite movies of all time.
Well, he bleats on about it.
He's constantly going on
Sick
about
of
it.
hearing about it, if anything.
He's got the DVD, the Blu-ray, the digital copy, extended and
The 4K.
The 4K.
He's not got a 4K TV, but he's bought it anyway.
He's had to. He went out and bought a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player just to watch his 4K copy of this movie. You know, that's the level
devotion
on this kid. So yeah, he gave us Batman versus Superman. So Batman versus Superman.
Good on you, Tony. Good on you, man.
You know what? Stand up for what you believe in, mate.
I wouldn't have added it myself, but we know that you fucking adore the movie.
I mean, we both love that movie, but we wouldn't have put it on the list. But
maybe at some point, maybe it, like, you know, when it gets to like 300.
Yeah, when you're running out of ideas.
Yeah.
But to go straight in for BVS, well played, Tony. I mean, that is the level of devotion you have for that movie. So what movie are you picking from your number 5?
I am going to pick a movie that was in my top 5. And the movie that I'm going to pick from my top 5...
Just fucking pick one.
Is... fuck, I don't know which one to add. Okay, I'm gonna add Hook.
Hook goes on the list.
Hook.
You just made the list. Could this be my list of Halden?
Well, no, because it's the 365 picks.
I need a list of Halden.
You were going to introduce that, but you've forgot about it.
I'll introduce it on the next one. Tony's on the list.
For adding BVS?
No, not for that, because, you know, I truly believe that if you love something dearly, put it on the list.
Well, yeah.
So it's on the list. Well done, Tony. Again, you know, big props to you. You're a brave, brave man. So, yeah, that has been episode 50 of the 365
Episode 50.
podcast.
Episode 50, goddammit. And as we said before, we've got a goddamn shop now.
We have.
So swing on by the shop. It'll be... We'll have a link on the Facebooks very, very soon. In a minute. Not right now. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. But if you can't wait long enough for the link to be there, you can go to shop.spreadshirt.co.uk/365flicks. Still no spackermouth. And we've got awesome designs on there, and we hope that people will like it.
Yeah. It's a shot in the dark.
Well, I've been spending time doing that when I should have been working, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's just a way so we can get more merch with our names on. Just for us.
We want people to be wearing...
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Stuff with 365 flicks on it.
Definitely. And so, we're going to end that there. But first of all, remember everybody, on those iTunes, rate and review us. Apparently it helps. I don't know how it helps, but apparently it does. There's algorithmic stuff involved. We're also... Anyway.
Just look for us. Just... Go on Facebook, 365 Flicks Podcast. Go on to Twitter at 365 Flicks Pod. And that's about it.
That is about it, but I would like to quickly say a cheeky thank you to Clint again over at Uncork'd Entertainment. And thanks again to Marty for coming on. He was a blast.
It was. It was a good interview. Really enjoyed it.
Because Brigger doesn't officially have the title yet.
Well, no.
We'll end with your theme tune.
Ooh.
Or is that my theme tune?
Which one are you going to click on?
That's my theme tune.
That's your theme tune.
Cool.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling.
It's been a while since I heard that.
Isn't it? Yeah. That belt... I don't know what... That belt's been in the post for 3 weeks. It can't take 3 weeks.
Personally, I think somebody stole it.
You think?
Yeah. Like, possibly a
You think it didn't leave the post office in Berwick?
Possibly a midget stole it.
Wow, shit.
I wouldn't be happy if they did that.
Well, they're everywhere.
They
you
are.
can't see them because they're very, very low.
They're like shit in the field.
They're like shit in the field. But you know what? Until he receives the belt, he's not actually a champion.
No, it's got to be...
So we're in limbo right now.
It has to be draped over the man's shoulder.
The podcast doesn't have a champion right now.
It doesn't.
So I think
it's vacated.
I think that needs to be addressed.
Well, how long has it been away? 3 weeks.
3 weeks since
Does
I first got
does
it.
the WWE not do if you can't defend it within 30 days?
So one more week.
One more week.
And then we need to have a serious conversation, Kev.
Yeah. It might be a case that Brigger never actually gets to be champion.
Brand split.
Oh, I like that. I do like that. And then you can be a champion and I'll be a champion.
Yeah.
You can be the Divas champ.
Well.
No?
Do we need a Divas champ?
No, that's kind of what Brigger was going to be, because he's a bit of a diva. But yeah, episode 50 in the can.
I'm happy with that.
And on that, I'm going to go to the can, because I need a piss.
The best, never worse. See, we never get the pebbles, they got the rocks first.